Hey everybody, it's Friday night once again. Not going out this evening, we're going out tomorrow night.
Yep.
So we can hang out with you guys.
Get a drink on.
All night, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we can't get that drunk because we don't have that much rum left.
Right.
I mean, we do, but...
Probably ought to go up and get us a sandwich or something after the show. We have this thing where we've been going up to Circle K to get food after the fucking show.
And they're like, yeah, if you get there before midnight, Subway's still open.
Yeah, Subway's still be open. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not worried about it.
Subway is good. The one we got here.
It's a lot better than it used to be.
Better than it used to be,
I
yeah.
will say.
Yeah.
They did actually have that thing like a while back where they're like, hey, our food's good now. Because everyone... The weird thing about it, I didn't even realize this, but I'm pretty sure, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Subway has more locations in the United States by quite a large margin than any other fast food place.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Starbucks might be the second, but I think Subway is the first.
Yeah, Subway's just got a shit ton because they'll put them anywhere, gas stations and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because ours is like in the back of the Circle K.
Yeah. You go down to any random mall, strip mall, you'll see a fucking Subway in it.
Yeah,
which is hilarious because I'm like, people go in there, and people go in there.
Yeah. I know.
To me, it just seems so retro. Like when I was in high school, we went to Subway.
Yeah,
and it wasn't that good then.
No, it's not. Like I said, I used to go in the one sometimes that was next to where I used to work, but because it was right there, like you could just walk to it. But that was just if I didn't bring lunch from home, which I usually did.
The thing I didn't like about Subway is the bread. But the bread's a lot better than
the bread is a lot better.
Yeah.
And they have like a lot more. Because, it's... Remember people used to say like it tasted like yoga mats or something like that? Or it was made of the same stuff that had yoga mats.
I had a friend who worked there. And his explanation was this. Their fucking bread loaves came in dough. And it was frozen.
Yeah.
And in a good Subway, they were supposed to thaw that fucking dough before they cooked it. In a shitty Subway where the fucking people that worked there didn't give a shit, they cooked the fucking dough from frozen. And that changed the flavor and the texture of it by a lot.
That would make sense.
And when he was working there, I got one from him and I noticed a difference. I was like, yeah, it's better.
So it was mostly just laziness.
It was laziness.
On the part of the...
Because they were baking that bread.
Yeah.
And, I saw it. It was on a big... fucking roller cart, you know what I mean, with shelves in it, with sheet pans.
Yeah.
Shit ton of sheet pans. And they had it was frozen. And they had it on, I think it was on wax paper. And they were supposed to take it out of the freezer and let it thaw before they made sandwiches out of it. They do it by the cart, And they had different kinds, They had like a wheat bread and they had a white bread. I think there was only two back in those days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure back in the day they didn't really have that many options.
Right.
Now they have a shit ton of options.
Yeah, we're giving them a free commercial.
Well, like I said, I'm not, it's just there. We don't really have... Honestly, it's the only fast food... No, we have a Domino's.
Yeah.
But, that's pretty much it. We don't... And a Dunkin' Donuts. But we don't have a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's or anything like that. Like, there are some within 5 to 10 miles, but, you have to drive away.
Z's in there saying fucking Subway's fucking amazing. we got a fucking Subway fan in there.
Yeah. Like I said, it's good for what it is.
They're already, I think, asking about slashers, I think.
No, Zach said, I watched the dumbest movie earlier called Henry and June. Have I ever seen it? I actually really like that movie. If you're talking about the same one, is it the one about, the real life Henry Miller and his girlfriend and Anais Nin and all that? Because I actually really liked that movie, but I haven't seen it in many, many years. If you're talking about the same one.
Those names sound familiar, but...
Yeah, they're real people. They were
writers or something?
Yeah. Burley said, did you like Smile 2? We have not seen it yet. It's weird because I really wasn't interested in seeing it. I liked the first one okay. I didn't love it. And then I kept seeing the trailer for the second one, and I was like, I didn't like the first one enough to see another one. But then a bunch of people kept telling me, no, man, it's really good. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll get around to it. Probably not. I don't know if it's still at the theater or not, but I might watch it when it comes to streaming.
I don't think I'd want to see it without seeing the first one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I've never seen the first one.
I'm not sure if you'd really have to. I mean, I'd probably rewatch the first one, too. Because it's been a while since I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
But, Let's see. Phantom says, yeah, I just came across a 1973 Christmas slasher that I never heard of. Looks decent, called Silent Night, Bloody Night. I've heard of that, but I don't remember if I've seen it or not. Mary Warrenov. Ooh, maybe I did see that. That sounds kind of familiar. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it. I've seen so much shit over my life that it's like... Sometimes I'm like, hey, I never saw this. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, I did. Like, when I watched it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I just totally forgot. Yeah, Julian Pope is talking about Nosferatu. Yeah, I've been pumped about that like almost the entire year since it's Robert Eggers, the same guy that made The Witch and The Lighthouse. And from what I haven't watched anybody's review, but I have seen like some video people that have already seen it, like that saw it early, and they're saying like it's amazing, like it's really really good. Like the trailer looked really good. I'm excited. I mean, I really want to see it. I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know. Is it more remaking the original from the 20s, or is it more remaking the Werner Herzog one, like with Klaus Kinski in it?
I haven't heard.
I don't really know. I mean, they're kind of similar, but the Werner Herzog one has more of a plague kind of vibe to it, where I feel like the original one doesn't have that as much.
I remember somebody said that it's like the first one. It's like a remake of the first one.
Okay.
But there was a bunch of other stuff they were able to do, and I think there's some different scenes happen in it.
Okay. Like I said, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Z also asked, did you like Terrifier 3? Yeah, that was actually like a lot of fun. I actually quite like the Terrifier movies.
I find them just hilarious. Really.
They are. I think most people find them hilarious because they're just like so fucking over the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just my favorite. It's like him putting that that fucking chainsaw like just up that dude's ass crack was just. I just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Stick the habit trail down that chick's throat and send the rats down.
And sending the rats in there and stuff like that. Yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun. We saw that in the theater. Actually, we reviewed it a little while back. But yeah. Now I heard too, because Phantom keeps talking about that movie Werewolves. And does that start this week? Because I just saw, like, on a horror site, I saw that there was a headline about it.
What happened to Wolfman?
That's not coming out till January something, because I saw the poster for it last time we were there. But yeah. Yeah, Zach said about Henry and June. Yeah, that's the one. Tried to be all artsy with the sex scenes. It was pretty smutty. It was NC-17. But it just came off as try hard and hilarious and, like, didn't say anything. Yeah, I guess so. It was I guess it was like ahead of its time for the day, like because people were just kind of like, "Ooh, they put all that stuff in a movie," you know what I mean? Also, it felt like the director trying to be, trying to work through his kinks or something. Oh yeah, it definitely does come across.
What
like
was
that.
this?
Henry and June.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's from the 90s, right? Isn't it from the 90s or late 80s? Now I can't remember. I used to have it on VHS. Like I didn't buy it. Like I just taped it.
Isn't that the two writers, and they would like write to each other about what kind of sex they had and shit all the time with other people?
Oh.
And they were, and
it might have been like
a lot of that shit got published later on, I think.
Yeah, they were, and would do like threesomes.
Yeah, and like
shit like that.
Yeah, and like the woman, she was in her late 20s, I think. She said she had sex with a little boy that she found.
Oh, I don't know about that, but that might be a different.
It was one of the writers.
Like I said, it's been a long time.
It was one of the beat writers, though.
Oh, okay.
So, who am I thinking of?
Who, Jack Kerouac?
Another one.
That was the first beat writer I thought of.
Might have been Jack Kerouac and his girlfriend, who was another writer. They were fucking.
Maybe you are kind of thinking the same thing. I'm not really sure. Henry Miller wrote Tropic of Cancer, among other things. But which I read when I was a teenager, but I don't remember anything about. You know,
they don't know if she made it up.
Yeah,
because they may have been making up stories to each other.
Speaking of you saying that, just reminded me of for the last couple evenings.
I've been Jack Kerouac. Jack Kerouac's girlfriend.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know much about him. I've read a couple of his books, but I don't know much about him as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
or who was the dude that wrote Naked Lunch?
What's his face?
Might have been him.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Might have been him and his girlfriend.
What the fuck is his name? Why can't I think of it? It just totally went out of my head.
Yeah. I think it might have been him.
The one that they made the movie about.
Yeah.
With the typewriter that turned.
Yeah, and he shot his girlfriend in the head by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot doing the William Tell fucking trick. He was drunk as a motherfucker, and she put the glass on top of her head, and he fucking shot her right in the forehead.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, went on the run.
No way would I
was
let
that guy's
anybody
name?
do that. No fucking
Evidently, they had
way.
done it before.
Oh, I know. They had done it before.
And I think she actually shot it off of his head.
William Burroughs.
I think it might have been William Burroughs.
William S. Burroughs.
Yeah.
I gotta think of it in a second.
and probably the girl that he shot. I think it was his wife, I think. But
Yeah. I would no way would I let a dude shoot anything off my head. I don't care how good of a shot they thought.
I think it was
they
her
thought
idea,
they
wasn't
were.
it?
I don't know.
I think it was her idea.
I don't
She
know.
put it on top of her head, and she told him to do it. I think, and he did it in front of a bunch of people. It was at a party.
Party foul.
Yeah.
Big time. Whoops,
Yeah, and
shot
he's
her
fucking
on
loaded.
purpose.
He's loaded. Pulls his fucking pistol out. Pow! Fucking shoots her right in the forehead.
That reminds me, speaking of like fake sex stories.
Yeah.
The last couple of nights we've been watching Wang, you know,
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah, that's a good channel.
And cuz you know,
Justin Wang.
yeah, and I couldn't really think of
Yeah.
anything else to watch. And they're fun. Like, and he does like these big long compilations. Like,
Yeah.
so I can't really watch the gross ones, like I said, but he had one that I saw last night. I can't remember what the title of it was, but it was the one where some like dude had posted on Reddit. I don't know if this is a real story or not. He had posted on Reddit and said he was a dad and that he had a teenage son, and that
Oh yeah.
they had a dog whose name was
Yeah.
Colby.
Yeah.
And apparently this was like a pretty famous story. And Colby started acting funny,
Yeah.
and he took Colby to the vet, and the vet said that there was something wrong with the dog's
Ass.
like his anus was like all torn up.
Boy was going anal in the dog.
And and so it came about that
Yeah.
they thought that the son, the teenage son, who was 15, was he 15?
Yeah,
something
something
like
like
that, was like molesting the dog,
Yeah.
like while
No,
nobody
we don't
was
know if
home.
any of this is true. You know, all that shit on fucking Wang's. This is all coming from like Reddit.
Well, I mean, it's
posts.
from Reddit, which like some of the stuff's
it could
real,
be totally made
and
up,
some of it
but
is just
they're
made
wild
up.
stories though.
And yeah, and it got weirder too, because then like after a while, like he said, he didn't tell his wife for a long time. He confronted his son about it. His son kind of denied it, and then finally said, "Oh, I just stuck a hairbrush up the dog's butt. Like, why would you do that? I don't know." And I suspect that it was if this was a real story. I don't know.
think it was a real story.
But it got like crazier because he
Yeah.
didn't actually tell his wife, but then like it happened again, and then he told his wife like 2 months later, and then she was mad because he hadn't told her.
Yeah.
And then the son threw the dad under the bus and said the dad was doing it.
Yeah.
And then like it was just this big shit show. and it happened like over because he made like a bunch of different posts. So like I said, if it was fake, I mean he at least committed to the bit.
Yeah.
Which
The blowfly girl though too.
yeah, we
she-
rewatched the blowfly girl one.
She posted over almost 10 years, I think.
That
coming
story,
back.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think
I
that was
believe
true.
that.
Yeah. Girl,
That is gross as shit.
girl she had mental problems and she would go into dumpsters to go rub one out and shit inside all the rotten garbage, putting maggots inside of her and shit, and going home with like dead stuff in her and laying up in the bed and fucking letting everything crawl out of her and letting the shit fester in there. Said she wasn't able to have kids after she'd been doing that for so long.
I guess not.
Wild, man. Then she said she got help or something. She got better. Didn't she? I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah,
She said she wasn't as depressed as she was. or
Yeah, she seemed to have kind of grown
Yeah.
out of it or gotten over it or something.
something. Right.
You know, and had kind of a normal life and a normal job and stuff.
Yeah.
But
weird.
it was pretty weird, yeah.
Yeah, she getting turned on by fucking filth and maggots and stuff.
Which, like I said, that's not... It's rare, but it's not unheard of, you know? People write about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
People get off on it, so...
Well, she was writing about it in there too, which made me think that maybe she was also kind of like fantasizing.
Yeah.
Like she was writing erotica about it.
Right.
Or getting off on telling people about it, maybe.
Because I've read a couple of extreme horror novels that have that kind of shit in there. And I'm sure some people are, like, getting off on it.
Yeah.
So... you know what I mean?
It's like hentai.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's people like some weird shit. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, Phantom said I just recently saw Dario Argento's Demons 2. Yeah, those are good. Like, Argento didn't direct them. He actually just produced them. But yeah. Yeah, Demons 1 and 2. Yeah, they're really fun. I really like those two movies. Who the fuck, who the fuck directed those? No, I can't remember. It wasn't, was it the same guy that did Cemetery Man? Michele Soavi?
Yeah.
Might have been.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember.
CB's talking about the deleted scenes in Alien. You find out what happened to Dallas. Yeah, you know, we know what happened to Dallas. In the newer edits, it's still back in there. It's got him sticking up in the fucking wall. It got him stuck up on the wall, and he's turning him into an egg.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in just the regular.
Yeah.
What is it? The director's cut or whatever?
Yeah, it's in the director's cut, I think.
Yeah, we have the. Do we have the box set?
Yeah.
I thought we did.
Yeah, with 4 of them in it.
Yeah, we have so much stuff in there, like in the shelves. I don't remember like what we got, and what we don't got. Oracle said there's nothing so gross that someone won't fetishize it. Oh, ain't that the truth? Mm-hmm. Like I said, I can't really get behind all the filth and poop and stuff.
Yeah.
And vomiting.
Yeah, I don't understand why you go down that direction. Well, there's people. I know what it is though. People fucking sometimes get off on shit. They're not doing things or thinking about doing things that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So it's highly unsanitary, so you shouldn't do it. So for some reason, there's kind of like this thrill-seeking thing where they want to think about that. Now, whether or not they actually want to do it, I think there's a big difference.
Yeah, because well, that's the thing, and we've talked about this before about like different things with porn and stuff. It's like some things that you kind of fantasize about or you get your rocks off to. It's like you wouldn't necessarily want to do that in real life.
Yeah.
Like, the fun of it is just, like, fantasizing about it. Like, if you did it in real life, it probably wouldn't be as fun, or it'd be kind of gross.
And it's not anybody you know.
Or it wouldn't, like, work out the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just kind of like...
Wouldn't be as good.
Yeah. It's
just like, I'm sure there are a lot more guys out there fantasizing about being a serial killer than there are guys that actually are serial killers. For every one of those dudes that's actually out there doing it, there's probably 100 of them that fucking wish they could do it.
Well, that's reassuring.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It still wouldn't be it would still be a small part of the population.
I know. I'm still glad I don't have to, like, go outside the house all that much. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like vores. See, those vores those guys that fantasize about eating people. That's something a serial killer would get off into.
Yeah.
So well, you could count them in those numbers.
Well, that's kind of the thing, is that the weird thing is about who was that dude that ate the other guy, like the Armand Maives or whatever, the German guy. And when he first started kind of haunting the cannibal or vor forums, like, a lot of the people were like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were just there, like, for fantasies, like, to share fantasies and stories and stuff like that. They weren't actually going to do it.
Yeah, he wanted to do it.
But he actually wanted to do it.
They found a dude that wanted to be eaten.
Found a dude that wanted to be eaten, which
is some weird shit.
I can't imagine what would be going on in your head, but, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
That was a weird fucking case. Yeah, we did a show about that.
You got to have a serious mental problem if your fetish is so fucking strong that you're willing to give up your life for it. And I guess that's the fetish.
Yeah.
Fucking, that's weird.
Oh.
And the dude bit his dick off, and then they cooked it. And they tried to eat it, but it was too tough. He did some shit.
See, that's why you should just fantasize about stuff instead of not doing it. Because they probably had, like, all these kind of, we're going to cut your dick off, and we're going to make it like a filet mignon, and, like, make it with all this fancy shit and everything. And then they tried to eat it, and they overcooked it, and it was all like fucking rubbery, and they couldn't even eat it.
There's not going to be any meat in that, really. It's going to just be a bunch of tendon and probably shit that tastes like fucking foam, or not foam, it's like spongy material and shit. It's like, that's not something
I've honestly never thought about eating a stick.
Yeah, and then after all that went down, he told him to get in the bathtub, and he was sitting. He said, "Just get in the bathtub, and you'll bleed out." And the dude never did bleed out. He was watching fucking movie for about an hour, and that dude was still alive in there in pain in the bathtub, and he was still alive. So, the guy said, "Okay, to put him out of his misery, he stabbed him in the neck with a knife."
Yeah.
Which the dude, I guess, presented his neck to do it, too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He wanted to hear all about how he was going to be eaten and everything. He was going to tell him, I'm going to eat you over a period of time, and
And he did.
And he did it. Yeah.
It took him a while. I don't remember. They said how long it took, like, for him to eat all.
About
of
a
them,
month, I think, wasn't it?
Maybe longer. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's right. Lamberto Bava. That's who.
He had him all frozen.
Demons 1 and 2. Yeah, well, he had them all. He had it all planned out.
He had it all planned out and everything. Like a German would. They can have the shit orderly and fucking orderly and planned out and it's systematic, man.
I mean, it's just fucking. I don't know, man. But yeah, we saw that one because we saw one that had the son like molesting the dog. Also had the tragic tale of Mr. Hands, who supposedly died after letting himself get fucked by a horse.
Yeah.
So he'd done it before, but like many times. But I guess just this one time, it didn't work out. So like perforated his colon. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just fucking crazy. But I like all of those fucking stories though. Like I said, I can't watch because he'll do because he does real gross ass stories too, like all the ones about the cum jars and stuff like that. And it's like I can't watch those. That's disgusting.
Cum drawer.
Well, he did some jars too. There was jars and drawers and and it's like I don't even want to talk about that because it makes me want to throw up. But like
it has the pictures of it and shit.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks.
Shit that teenage boys would do.
And I can't usually watch the poop stuff either. But it's just like other than that, most of the stuff that he does is funny. Especially he did like a whole. Did he do like a whole compilation of like sex toy misadventures or like homemade sex toy?
Yeah.
Like the dude that rigged up this thing with what was he trying to do? Like it was something having to do with the ceiling fan.
Something to do with the ceiling fan. I guess it spun and you're gonna get underneath it and
it didn't work out the way he anticipated. To say the least. But I can't remember exactly what happened, but it wasn't good. But yeah.
Nowadays, you just go on Temu and fucking get all that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean...
But back in those days... Like,
I guess back in the day, it's like, if you were a kid, I guess, and, like, you didn't... Or you were too embarrassed to, like, ask your parents, or, like... Whereas now you can just order it online, but I guess back then you couldn't, so you had to, like, make your own. But I was just kind of like... Because now you can get all kind of fancy shit, but back then I guess you couldn't. So he was, like... They said like how he rigged up this thing, and I can't remember, but I know it had something to do with the ceiling fan and some various other things. But remember, and the other kid too that like dripped wax into his pee hole.
Yeah, and it got stuck in.
And then like he couldn't get it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure I believe that story. Though.
I don't think I believe that either.
There's a bunch of shit that it didn't sound too practical. Like that didn't happen.
Well, I think the thing that made it. The inciting incident, like somebody having like a melting candle getting, hey, I'm gonna drip that in my dick, like that doesn't seem crazy to me, like because some dumbass would come up with that. But I think what made it unbelievable was that he was too embarrassed to go to a doctor for like 2 years, even though he had like horrible excruciating pain, evidently.
He had an obstruction.
Yeah. So it's like I don't
believe that obstruction would have lasted 2 years either.
Probably
I think he would have blown it out. Dudes can pass gallstones.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's just a piece of wax. It's soft.
Right.
So it's like, I
didn't really believe it.
So I can't really see that doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a urologist. So I can't really tell you. Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's... Burley said there's also a deleted scene from Aliens, where you find out what happens to Burke.
Yeah. I think I knew it one time, but I forgot. You have to remind me.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
What happened to him? I think they find his body, if I remember correctly. I think it's hanging somewhere.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Aliens.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
Burley said, PSA, don't insert foreign objects into your urethra.
Well, they got dudes that do that. It's called sounding.
Sounding.
And that's how the dudes, he went on a forum and the sounding community tried to come to his rescue. Says, no, it should just come out. If I can stick some down in there, that kind of clear it out. Man. Jen showed me a video with fucking this German girl. Fucking big old fake boobs. And she's like the size of beach balls and shit. And she's got her boyfriend. She's fucking sticking this metal rod down in him, and I'm fucking, my hair is standing straight up, man. That's back when I had hair.
Yeah, Tom was like,
oh God. And she's sitting there next to me laughing, and I'm going, damn.
Watch it.
Damn, look at that shit. It looked uncomfortable as hell, man. It looked like that shit hurt, but evidently it doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to find out. That was, what was that chick's name?
Yeah, I remember.
German porn star.
I remember what she looks like, but I can't think of what her name is.
Penelope Black Diamond.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was like some weird ass
Penelope Black Diamond
name that wasn't like a real name.
She kind of looks like one of our friends. Fucking looks like Laura, but with huge implants.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's all into that.
Into that sounding and shit. She's all fetish though. Toenails so big they fucking curl around her fucking platforms. Fucking like 3-inch long toenails and shit. Like claws.
Which to me that just seems a little impractical. I don't know.
They're not real, I don't think.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Cause shit, man.
He just puts them on for the video.
Even when my real nails are long now because they actually grew out because I didn't chew on them. Yeah. But so when I have these or when I have fake nails, it's like they get this long and I'm having trouble typing and I'm like, oh man. Fuck this. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't like being inconvenienced. These aren't too bad, though. It's like they're better than the fake ones because the fake ones just fucking pop off all the time. So, let's see. Oh, shit. CB said, yeah, I masturbated drunk and ruptured it, and I pissed bloody for a week. Damn, you were going to town, I guess. But, yeah, I mean... all kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not a boy, so I don't really know. Like, but teenage boys do some dumb shit.
Oracle's asking me about if we'd seen the Batman versus Predator short film. No, I haven't seen it. I didn't know that was out there.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'm gonna say Team Predator. I feel like anybody versus Batman.
Yeah, shit.
Anybody versus Batman. I mean, Batman doesn't have like any superpowers or nothing.
Neither does the Predator.
No, but he's an alien and he has like way better technology.
They both got pretty good technology, though. It depends on how much warning. Depends on how much warning Bruce Wayne would have. He'd build a fucking power suit or something.
Can he turn invisible? No.
He built a suit to fight Superman.
Well, he'd have to, like I said.
Yeah. He had unlimited money. So.
Which I guess is a superpower in itself. But still.
Arnold beat one up and killed it. Tricked it.
In the movie.
In the movie, yeah.
So maybe Batman's got a
have a good chance. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of, because weren't we thinking like the whole Predator versus Aliens thing? I kind of feel like I'm Team Alien on that one, though. You know?
I don't know. I think Batman would... I don't think the writers of that story are going to allow Batman.
No, I'm talking about Predator versus Alien.
Oh.
You know?
Well, the Predators have technology. The aliens don't. And the Predators know about the xenomorphs. They know how to handle them.
Aliens have acid blood, though.
That's all right. They didn't seem to bother them. The Predators didn't seem to care about that.
I don't even remember how the shit shook down in the movies, honestly. I've seen them, I think. Didn't we see Predator versus Alien?
Yeah.
Or Alien versus Predator?
Yeah, and there's a part 2.
I think I've seen the second one, too. But if you put a gun in my head, I couldn't tell you what happened to them.
That's the one that had the half Predator, half Alien. The Predalien.
Yeah. I don't know, I just don't remember them that good.
Yeah.
I remember the Predator movies.
And it was making children a different way. Remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it didn't have face huggers. It just ran up on some woman. She was in the hospital, and it stuck that inner mouth down into her mouth, and slipped a bunch of eggs down into her. Remember? And then like 6 of them came out later on. Yeah, 6 of them came out, and then they all turned into
a little ovipositor going.
Yeah. And I don't think they came out. As Predaliens, though. I think they just came out as regular xenomorphs.
That's no fun.
Yeah. They came out of a person. They came out of a human.
I don't know. They do all these kind of like mashup movies. When we were talking about that, then I was thinking about Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
I'm still mad that they kind of had. Well, I guess technically in that movie, didn't Jason kind of win? Because didn't he cut Freddy's head off at the end? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that too. Yeah, but I was thinking it's like there's no way Freddy would win.
See, the Phantom's saying in some of the Batman comic or Batman animated films, that Batman had a suit that could make you camouflage.
See, I kind of figured that probably
so he would have shit like that. It just Bruce Wayne would have to have prior warning though. It had to be ready.
Well, that's what I mean, because you have to like get the suit. Yeah. If he just did Predator, just like snuck up on you, when whoo, surprise, then he's gonna fucking lose.
You'd be fucked. Yeah.
When he just got like a t-shirt and jeans on or whatever.
Bruce Wayne would have to fucking figure out everything about the Predator, about the Predator.
He's like, well, I can punch
how it works, and he'd have to get some shit made to help fight it. He'd fucking take some of Bane's fucking Venom steroids and mix that in with his fucking steroids so Batman could be fucking bigger. Shit like that. Do something like that.
Yeah, as he told me, Jason did win. That's what I thought, because I remembered the last scene of like Jason carrying Freddy's head, but then Freddy like winked like, hey, I'm still alive, because I think they were going to make another one, but I don't know if they didn't ever make another one, did they? I remember seeing that one in the theater. But that's pretty much the only part of it that I remember. I just remember like at the end being like, bullshit. I feel like Freddy would have won. You know?
There's a new Predator movie coming out. I didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
Said there's a trailer for it.
No, I haven't seen it.
No, I didn't know.
I mean, is it like a sequel or like a reboot or?
It's gonna have to be something. I thought the Predator movies were done for actually after that last one.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I mean, Predators was much better.
It was a lot better, right?
I really liked that one.
I think Predators is the second best one. The first one and then Predators. Predator 2 was okay, but
yeah, Predators was better. Love Predator 2.
It doesn't work if it's not in a jungle. It's got to be in some kind of a natural setting. Didn't work in the city.
Yeah, I get what they were doing. It's like, hey, we're gonna like put him in a different environment, but it wasn't the same.
It's not the same.
It wasn't the same. So that's what I mean. It was okay, but I didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
Brandon says, love the color, Jenny. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is one of my favorite wigs. Well, I think I say that about all. Any of them that are blue, I like. I feel like the blue ones look the best. Oracle says, the BVP movie, Batman vs. Predator, is called Batman Dead End. The film opens with Batman chasing a recently escaped Joker, only to discover that there's something far worse stalking the streets of Gotham. Okay, so we might have to see that.
How long is it?
I don't know. Because remember how we went on a little thing where we were watching like all the Batman animated stuff? And because you guys had recommended...
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, like Gotham by Gaslight. And
that was a good one.
Yeah, I loved that. That was great. And the one that was like in Japan, like the samurai one.
Yeah, I couldn't get through that one though. It was too silly.
It was kind of, it's like, I liked the aesthetic of it, but yeah, I didn't like it as much.
It was too Japanese.
And then the like weird Lovecraftian one.
Yeah.
But I think Gotham by Gaslight, I think, was my favorite one, like with the Jack the Ripper. Yeah, Oracle said it's like 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
Live action.
All right.
It's not animated. All right, so we're going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to write that down. Somebody also asked me earlier if we would review Dead Man's Shoes, so I wrote it down. I think you asked before, but... Okay, so I'm going to write that down. What did I say it was called? Okay,
Dead Man's Shoes.
Batman Dead End.
What's that about?
I don't know. I've heard the name, but I don't really know. There's so much information in my head right now that...
Let me
refill and put ice in.
Ice and stuff.
Yeah. Hugo says Prey was good. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah, I liked that one too.
It was okay. I liked it.
I still liked Predators better, but Prey was also pretty good. Oh, it's 8 minutes. It's only 8 minutes. Oh, okay. And The Possession from 2012. Did I see that? It doesn't sound familiar. I'll write that down too. We'll see. I have like a big list, and then the thing about it is I have this big list, and then sometimes I forget what's on the list, and then we're just scrolling through like movies and stuff. We're like, ooh, and so like, let's watch that. Like, let's review that. You know what I mean? So it doesn't always. So if you requested one like a long time ago, and we haven't got around to it, we'll eventually get around to it probably. But I mean, one that I'm kind of intrigued by. I don't know if anybody's seen it. But there's a movie on Netflix. And it's fiction, but it's based on Rodney Alcala, the dating game killer, like who we did a show about a long time ago. I think it's called Woman of the Hour.
Yeah.
And I think it's Anna Kendrick is in it, and I think it's her. She directed it too. Like I think it's her directorial debut. And it's like I've been kind of wanting to watch it. Like I haven't really heard anybody talking about it, but it sounds like a good idea because that was a crazy fucking story. That whole dating game killer shit. CB says Dead Man's Shoes is about an ex-soldier that returns to get revenge on the gang that hurt his brother with special needs. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, that sounds kind of familiar, honestly. Maybe I saw that. I don't remember. Z says, Jen, you'll love it, and I'm glad I'm part of y'all's fam. Aw, we're glad that you're here too.
The reason why I thought Prey was just okay is I didn't think the Indians looked authentic. They looked like kids from fucking Burbank or fucking Palos Verdes.
Well, they probably were.
Yeah, somewhere in California and suburbs.
Like, we can't help it, man, we're actors.
They were up there from fucking Bixby Knolls. They didn't fucking... But the thing is that fucking in the other Predator movies, the people looked pretty legit, you know what I mean? The Dutch's team looked like a bunch of mercenaries. That's the way a lot of mercenaries look, you know? Fucking... You can see them fucking... what's his name? On YouTube. They look like that. Steroids and everything. And then in Prey, the French looked good. That they looked like some scuzzy ass fucking buccaneer looking dudes, you know, like pirates almost. And they looked legit. But the Indians looked too clean. They looked too clean, too modern, too soft. Good teeth and shit. You know, like they just been brushed their teeth. They had veneers. You know, fucking nice clean hair. Indians put buffalo grease in their hair and fucking braided it and put fucking headdresses and shit on. You know, they didn't walk around with pretty ass hair really. That wasn't them.
Pretty ass hair.
Yeah, they didn't have the pretty ass hair motif. Yeah.
Pretty ass hair.
No.
Z says, I love Elm Street over Friday the 13th. Yeah, I'm generally a bigger fan of... I mean, I like the Friday the 13th movies, but if I had to pick, I do like the Elm Street movies better. Although a lot of the Elm Street movies, I didn't like when they made Freddy funny. Like, I guess he was kind of funny in the first one, but he was, like, really scary in the first one, I thought. And then, like, he just got funnier and funnier, like, as the time went on, and I was like... I liked the imaginative aspect of it, where he would kill the people... like in original ways every time. Like that was always fun. Yeah. But I didn't like that he was just like a wisecracking comedian at the end.
CB saying he likes to watch these, what did he say at the bottom about period flicks? The chicks got tramp stamps and shit on them.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think they'd at least, I mean, they have stuff to like cover that up.
Yeah. I mean? Tramp stamps.
Unless it's like a really low budget.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I have seen movies like that where one movie they did on Mystery Science Theater was one of those fucking Deathstalker movies.
Yeah.
They shot them in Mexico, and it was like a different dude playing Deathstalker, like every time. He was supposedly this legendary character or whatever. And this one that they did on the show was Deathstalker and the Warriors from Hell. And everybody in there had like feathered hair because it was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right? So...
Yeah.
So of course they had a comment. It's like, well, they missed on the hairstyles by about 400 years or something like that.
It's like the hairstyles fucked up classic Star Wars. Everybody had shitty hair, remember?
Yeah. It's funny because you don't, I guess at the time you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
Because everybody had hair like that. But then like as time goes on.
Shitty 70s hair.
Yeah. Just kind of like, it's funny to think about, but. I always, you know what is weird is that when not so much the 90s, but when the 2000s came along, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, wow, there's not really any, because you know how you can see like a look and you're like, oh, that's 70s or that's 80s or that's 90s, you know what I mean? But then the 2000s came along and I'm like, I don't know if there's like a distinct style.
There is.
But in retrospect, you can see it. Like, at the time, you couldn't really see it, though.
You can go back and look at old 2000s porn or whatever. Or anything from the 2000s. The girls had nice hair, good hair. But it was all kind of like Avril Lavigne kind of looking, or you know, Britney Spears type looking hair. White belts on jeans. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember white belts. That was a big thing.
Yeah. Hair that looked like it had been crimped with a bunch of zigzags in it sometimes.
Although I kind of associated that more with the 90s, but I guess that was 2000s.
2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they had kind of like bell-bottom jeans with their belly shirts.
Yeah.
Fucking white belt. Or maybe a pink belt. But the white one stood out a lot to me.
Yeah.
Sneakers. You know. And, you know, like all-star type sneakers and shit. Just or just whatever, you know. There is definitely a 2000s look.
Yeah.
What I would have to say is that the hair was good. The female hairstyles I thought were good. They were pretty. Kind of a feminine look.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can kind of remember it, but...
A lot of parted in the middle, that kind of shit. Kind of like I said, the head feathered on one side, parted on the side, but it was long, you know?
Yeah.
They had all that.
Zach says, when I think of 2000s fashion, I just think of Sex in the City and Paris Hilton. He's like, hate it. And he said, I remember having a shirt back then that was a single shirt, but it was designed to look like that t-shirt over a long sleeve deal. Oh, I remember those. Because layering was a big thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you could buy, if you were a girl, you could buy like tank tops, and it looked like one tank top over another tank top, but it was actually just one.
Yeah.
But it was made to look like that. Yeah. And then they also had t-shirts that had like long sleeves like sewn into them, so it looked like you had one shirt on over the other shirt.
Over the other one, yeah.
Even without additional bulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Although I kind of like the t-shirt over the long sleeves, I kind of associate that more with the 90s, because I feel like that was a little bit of a grunge thing, but maybe that was still going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's hard. It was a long time ago, so it's like hard for me to remember. Like when it's all like a blur, like it all like blurs together now. Mm-hmm. But I definitely kind of feel like, I mean, 90s. I remember very specifically. Obviously, everybody being
kind of raver looking.
Well, no, because there was like the grunge thing. Like so, there was like a lot of plaid shirts. Like girls would wear denim cutoffs over tights.
Yeah.
And like Chuck Taylors, like high top sneakers.
Baby doll dresses that were like
doll dresses, chokers.
Yeah.
Like little lace chokers. Yeah. That was a big thing.
90s had good fashion too. Just depended on what
baby doll dresses and tights and shit like that.
Yeah.
Dresses over jeans. I kind of maybe that was a little bit later. But yeah, I don't. And the funny thing about it too is that
90s goth was good.
Yeah, like a lot of that looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Until it went like a little too hot topic-y and everybody had those giant pants on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was never supposed to happen. That was a joke, actually.
Yeah.
It was a joke that actually caught on. It was because of Jenkos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked for... She managed a whole branch of Hot Topics in the South. It was Melissa. And they had a big fucking like regional meeting on a big fucking I think she said it was on over telephones. You could hear everybody. And that was one of the things that like one of the product developers was talking about. It says that, you know, these Jinkos, man, they're selling a lot of them. And they pay a lot of money for them. And it's like, we can't copy that outright. And the people that buy Jenkos are not going to buy them from Hot Topic. But the goth kids might buy them. So let's make some gothic Jenkos. And fucking, they were all laughing. Because a lot of them were goths in there, you know. They're going, yeah. And they were like, it's going to be ridiculous. This shit's going to look... But they'll buy it. They knew exactly. they knew they were going to be ridiculous. And fucking... And then they... After all that happened, later on, there was another meeting... when all that shit came out. And the whole branch of Hot Topic was run by goth women. Goth girls were managing it. And like, okay, we're going to have a fucking a store competition. Whatever store can get a photograph of the most fucked up kid they can, you're going to win. And they were going to give them some kind of bonus. I forgot what it was. And... Melissa got a guy to buy the fucking Jenkos, fucking platform, fucking shoes, just all kinds of shit that didn't match. And said his ass walking down the mall like that. She took a picture of him and shit. She didn't win though. Somebody else on another branch got somebody worse.
Even more ludicrous.
Yeah, but they were. Hot Topic behind the scenes was running a fucking competition to see who could make the most fucked up looking kid.
I love that. That's so fun. Well, because I mean, we're older, so it's like by the time Hot Topic became a thing and like emo was a thing and all that.
Yeah, emo.
Like we were like older, so we were like, oh my god,
we were kind of goofing on that.
Look at these fucking children. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are they wearing that? And it's just kind of like, and it was funny too because they kind of wanted to associate with the goth movement, but like then when you went in Hot Topic or you saw what music they were listening to,
it wasn't goth at all.
It was just like pop music.
Yep.
Like they were sitting there thinking like Avril Lavigne was like edgy or something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, they knew the market.
Yeah.
And the market was mall kids. There were more mall kids than there were mall goths.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had to just sell shit to just the mall kids. And
it worked.
They tried to take kind of like the street cred to the goth scene and try to piggyback that onto more mainstream shit that they would sell.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, like their whole that crowd right there, the most fucking gothic industrial thing they'd ever probably heard was like Prodigy, Smack My Bitch Up.
Yeah.
That probably the most gothic. Maybe Marilyn Manson.
Oh, they were all into Marilyn.
Yeah, who wasn't goth, really.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
We still blame him for doing that stuff. Z says, what about goth vibes nowadays? You know what's weird? It's like, I'm not real sure what I've seen with the younger crowd of goth people. And I'm talking about...
Locally?
Actually, yeah. And that's all I can speak to, really, because, like, we go out and we see them. So it's like, I will say that some of the younger crowd, even though there's kind of an argument to be made that because of TikTok and because all this other stuff, that a lot of it is just, like, fashion and doesn't really have anything to do with music anymore.
Yeah,
but
or
the
culture.
Or the culture at large, which is kind of a bummer. But the thing about it is that the younger ones that we see come out nowadays do seem to be... they're into newer music. A lot of them like the old shit, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're really into the old shit, but they like new shit, but the new shit that they like sounds like the old shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of them like new bands that are good that sound like old ones.
Yeah, and a lot of them look pretty good.
And I've noticed that a lot of the younger ones seem to be going back to...
Death rock.
A more death rock kind of look, like a more 80s, like punk-inspired kind of look, too, or a more classic, like Victorian.
Yeah, and what's funny is that we're calling them kids. They're not that young anymore.
No.
Some of them are just coming up on 30 now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're young to us.
They're young to us, but some of them are starting to reach 30. But they've been around for a while, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So they showed up in their early 20s, and now they're almost pushing 30. It happens fast, people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I would have to say this though. They look better than we did in the 90s.
Yes.
Because they have access to clothes we could only dream
that
of.
we couldn't get.
Yeah, we couldn't get those clothes. We'd have to make... With a lot of the stuff we had to make on our own, and we didn't have big variety because the shit was expensive.
Yeah, like you had to order... You could order stuff, like, through catalogs and stuff, but it was hugely expensive, just, like, for one piece. Like, it's made of velvet, but it's, like, $300. It's like, I couldn't afford that shit.
Of course, it was $100 back then.
Yeah.
And this is fucking 90s prices.
No, the first corset I got was $300.
$300? Yeah.
Like, it was custom made.
Yeah.
For me, but...
And the boots that we had were expensive. The ones that I remembered was a company called Destroy. They were great, all leather. They were kind of like New Rocks. Some of the Fluvogs looked good. They kind of had kind of these platforms that looked like a Minnie Mouse type shoe that looked good with certain goth dresses that girls. And another is a Destroy, and the other one that it came out with is kind of like the very first version of Demonia. It was a little bit cheaper, but it was still expensive. It was called Pentagaglin. But Demonias kind of look like copies of Pentagaglin. You can find all that shit on Etsy. I saw a pair of women's Destroy boots. They looked fucking great, man. And it's all leather. Shit lasted, and they were from the 90s. They wanted $250 for them, though.
Yeah.
That's just not cheap. You might as well just get some fucking New Rocks.
Yeah, I mean, for that price.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of demonias, but you can usually get a pair of demonias for about $100. They don't last forever. They only last a year or two.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're dancing in them. But, I can't.
So, you could lift them up and put them in a time machine and send them back to the 90s, and they would be on the higher end.
Yeah.
In terms of fashion.
Because it's,
we were
like
just
you
making
said,
do.
Yeah, it's much easier.
It's a lot easier.
Like back in the day, like I'd have to get stuff from thrift stores or go to normal stores and like find pieces that were like black and you could like cut them or do things to them or like pair them with different things that made them look different. You know what I mean? So we didn't really have.
It was a mixture of stuff that you could find.
I mean, I didn't really start ordering clothes on the internet until probably like the 2000s. You know what I mean?
I had some of those knee length fucking black Doc Marten boots. And that was like some of the best boots you could have back then in the 90s. Most guys didn't have those. Not for men. And that was another thing is that the women's selection was always much better than the men's. If goth dudes were always sucking.
And the weird thing is that, and the thing about it though is that goth dudes are usually like more open to wearing cool stuff than like regular dudes are. But still, the selection is not really that creative.
One of the best things I fucking had was an 1800s Victorian frock coat that was actually made for a play. Okay. It didn't have real pockets in it or anything. It would have flown well today. That's like some shit you get from China. It looked really good, and it wasn't a military uniform. It was just a black frock coat from 1800s, and it had a bunch of trim and stuff, and it looked really good. I wore that with fucking PVC pants, tall fucking boots. I had a white shirt with the ruffled fucking collars and cuffs and shit, like right out of, and then I'd wear a vest underneath that. I had different ones, a purple velvet vest, a fucking red velvet vest, a black one, and then fucking black gloves. Looked good. Looked like I didn't have a hat though. I didn't like hats. You had to dance, man. It gets too fucking hot.
Yeah, it is.
Would look real good with a top hat. I got a picture of it. It's in my other phone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I kind of feel like nowadays, if you go to a goth club nowadays, maybe, like I said, I can only speak to this, Central Florida because that's where we go out. But you could probably wear pretty much anything from the whole span of the goth era, and no one would bat an eye. No one's going to make fun of you or nothing like that. Like, as long as you look kind of gothy and cool and everything. I think maybe the only thing that might raise some eyebrows is if you did, like, a full-on graver thing, like with fur leggings and goggles and shit. Like, people might be like, okay. But, because people didn't like that even at the time.
That's another outfit I had. It's in black and white, so you can't really see anything. But that's, you can kind of see it there. Because it gonna... guess it's never gonna fucking focus.
And you're probably gonna mess the lighting up too.
That's me and my first wife. See if I have another pictures from those days.
Oh, Tammy says, Jenny, I saw a documentary that redheads have a mutation on their MC1R gene that causes them to be more pain tolerant, harder to sedate, and affects their sensitivity to pain meds. I read that before too, and I wasn't sure like how legit that was, but it's like, yeah, I've always had that like my whole life.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So, because redheads are rare, like actual real redheads, because I am a red underneath all of this, and like I dye my hair black because it's probably gray now, but I'm actually naturally I'm a redhead. So, but yeah, I've always had that. Where drugs don't really affect me. I don't really have, it's not that I don't feel pain, because I absolutely do. But it just takes a lot more pain before I get uncomfortable, maybe, than other people, perhaps. Franco says, Dead Man's Shoes, Paddy Considine is the main actor from House of Dragon, great British slasher revenge movie. Wasn't he in 24-Hour Party People? Or am I thinking of a different actor? Because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. If it's the actor that I'm thinking of, I can see his face, and I thought that was his name.
All right, here's another early 90s. That's Tanya, and she was big at the club, and that's what she was wearing then. I got several pictures. She's a pretty good example
of the way that they looked in our era.
Yeah, and you could still wear that now.
You could wear that
and
now.
nobody would think that that was weird or anything.
Yeah.
Or that you looked retro.
Yeah. Even the wings, they had that back then too.
I have little,
Yeah.
like, leather wings.
Yeah.
I don't have any big fluffy ones, though.
That's another picture of her. But remember the lace tops?
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
couple of those.
Yeah. There's another. But from that era, that was pretty cool. From, this is probably about 95, 96 maybe.
Yeah. And like I said, I could picture somebody wearing that now.
Yeah. That girl I just showed you is Voltaire's ex-wife.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's a goth rock star guy. He was also ex-girlfriend of a guy named who was the dude from the fucking propaganda magazine, fucking centerfolds all the time. That dude, what was his name?
Who? John with a K.
John, what's his name? John
With a K.
Koviak. John
Koviak,
Koviak. John Koviak was the goth poster child boy. I'll show you guys him. What that looked like. This is probably around 95, 96.
John Smith says the rumors are true. Tom once had hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had hair on this show. Like, if
Yeah.
you go back a few years. He's only shaved it a few years ago. So he had hair for many years while we first did this show, like the first few years.
Okay. That was John Koviak.
I remember that picture.
Yeah. He was like fucking, all the goth chicks were fucking in love with this dude.
He was in, like, every issue of
Yeah.
propaganda.
Right. Here's a color photo of him. You remember, this is the famous photo of him. A lot of goth chicks had this in their bedrooms, kind of like a fucking poster. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, he's a hot fucking
Yeah.
dude. He's a hot dude.
Tanya had a whole bunch of love letters from him. I didn't go through them and read them, but I could tell that's what they were. She was talking about him.
Yeah, it'd be a little, unless she said you could read him, that seems a little,
Well, she was.
seems a little invasive.
She was like, "Oh, he loves me," and all that kind of shit, That was it.
Victor says, as an elder millennial, I've been buying brands from my youth, like Stussy, Massimo, and Doc Martens. I bought my first Doc Martens in the UK when I went over there in the mid-90s. Because it was harder to get them here because they had to ship them over, so they were really expensive. So I saved up money and, like, bought some when I was over there. I bought a red pair and a blue and green plaid pair. Which do I still have those somewhere? Or did
What's
I give
that?
them away? Those Doc Martens that I had?
They're around here.
Yeah, I think they're around here somewhere.
Yeah.
CB says, I'm 38 now and I have to will my ass out of bed in the morning.
High Desert says, I remember that guy from Propaganda. Yeah, he was in Propaganda magazine a lot.
Dude, I'm 52. I can get out of bed. You can get out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah, he did have it. He had
Although I
one
get
where he
that
was
too.
dressed up in like a priest outfit. Yeah, he had.
Yeah, I remember that
He
one.
had that one. Yeah.
I had all the propagandas. I think I sold them, though. I might still have some. I had a bunch of old... I still have some Death Rock magazines, and because I used to collect them. But, I think I was down on my luck at some point. I was, like, selling a bunch of shit.
The dude that made that magazine Propaganda was a photographer.
Photographer, yeah.
And he was gay. He loved fucking goth dudes, and he had this whole selection of them that
We
he
all
used.
love goth dudes.
What's that?
We all love goth dudes.
Yeah, no, those are like his kind of like models. There were girls in there too, but the girls changed out quite a bit. But it was always the same guys in there, and those were guys I think were mostly from bands. I think they were not only did they have to look good, I think they were in bands, because Koviak was. I don't know if that band ever went anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't even remember what band he was in. CB asked if we had reviewed Black Christmas from 1974. Oh, yeah. It was probably a long time ago, but yeah, we did. Z's asking what we're drinking. Rum and Coke. We're doing rum and Coke this evening. Let's see. Yeah, I just said I wish I kept mine. I love going to the record stores and looking for that magazine. Yeah, it was just... It only came out, like 4 times a year? And it was, like, pretty thick, like, when you got it. And it was really nice, like really nice printing. It's all like all full color and everything like that. And the only place I could get them, I couldn't get them locally, like because when I lived in Daytona Beach, you couldn't get them locally there. So I had to wait until we came to Orlando, and there used to be a big what the fuck was the name of that big, not Tower Records, but what was that other really big, Virgin. It was Virgin Megastore. There used to be a big Virgin Megastore in downtown Disney, and they would usually have it. So I would usually wait, like save up, and then I would go get it like in Orlando because I couldn't get them where I was. And I had pretty much all of them. I actually even had the first issue where it was all black and white and like Robert Smith was on the cover. And but I sold that one too. I sold it to a girl, DJ Azzy, I think.
Yeah.
In Tampa. She came here for a show at Will's Pub, and I was selling a bunch of stuff, and she bought all of them, like all the propagandas that I had. She gave me a lot of money for them too.
And they were expensive back then, man. They were like they were $20 a issue or $25 a issue back in the '90s, from what I remember.
I don't think they were that much.
I thought they were $20.
No, I think it was more like maybe they were like 14 or 15 or something like that.
I was in Boston.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think they were 20. Because I remember, man, I was thinking about getting this, and I looked at the price, and I was like, oh. But the thing is, I don't know if it was a back issue.
Yeah, maybe it was.
They probably would have wanted more for it.
Yeah. Somebody said... CB said, when I first found this channel, Tom was blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had bleached hair a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think early... You had black hair when I first met you. But then not too long after I met you, you bleached it.
Yeah.
But then you did it black again, and then like years later you bleached it again.
Yeah, what's funny is like half of our little friends fucking still miss the blonde hair. Like, remember, Laura's like, I miss the blonde hair. Like, but you know, I looked different back then. I had a different build. I'll show you guys. And I couldn't pull that off now. I'm a lot older now. I'm 10 years older easily. This is what she's talking about.
I mean, I always liked the darker hair, but the blonde hair looked good too.
It was mostly black.
Yeah. Like I said, I only remember knowing you like, you know, 2 brief periods you had blonde hair. Like maybe like a few months or something. Because I know I have some pictures of me and you, like when we were first hanging out where your hair was white.
Going through history here. I thought I had a picture. I thought I had that in here. I'm gonna have to go get my other phone.
Okay.
My other phone's got all my good pictures in it.
CB said Jenny would look absolutely gorgeous as a redhead. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I don't know what color my natural hair is now. When I was a kid, oh shit, man! Like my dad the other day
sent the photos. Why don't you show some pictures?
Because I don't have them loaded on here. They're on my other computer. But he sent me a thumb drive. Yeah. My dad actually went through and scanned a bajillion photos, like of from all of our youths, and me and my siblings.
That's what I look like with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Can't see my face in this photo.
Everybody knows what your face looks like.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's like so because Tom had never seen me with red hair. You know what I mean? Because I've been dyeing it for years. Like by the time I met him. So I was like, see, that's what I looked like when I was younger. I had red hair.
Oh, if I darken it, it doesn't white out. There you go. Now that little chick next to me, that's Kaylee. Yeah. That was our little friend. She died of cancer.
Yeah.
She lived a couple more years, I think. Wasn't it? Probably about 4 or 5 years, and then she died.
After that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 34 when she died.
Yeah, and she was probably about 30 here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
yeah,
I think she only lived about 4 more years after that.
Yeah, and I'm 5'6". She was probably about 4'10".
Yeah, she's a tiny.
Tiny.
She was like way shorter than me, and I'm pretty fucking short.
Here's a picture of me and Jen. This is about the time when we first met, actually.
Yeah,
we were just friends at that time, I think, weren't we?
Yeah.
Were we going out at that time?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I kind of remember that outfit, and I think that me and my friend Jen had been out together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I think I have some pictures of me and her in the bathroom at iBar, from that same night. So I came with her, not with you. So that must have been like before we were going out.
That's what I looked like in fucking high school. in the Sisters of Mercy period. A little leather jacket and shit.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy said Tom looks fucked up. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
in some of the pictures he's
yeah.
kind of drunk. It's always kind of fun because sometimes, this hasn't happened in a while, but sometimes back in the day, you'd be so drunk and like somebody would be taking pictures and like the next day you'd see pictures of you on social media and you're like, man, I don't even remember anybody taking
I don't remember.
that. I don't remember anybody taking that. Like, it's a good picture, but it's like, I don't remember anybody taking that. That's happened a few times. I remember that picture, though. That's fucking hilarious. Phantom said, yeah, the blonde hair looked good. You kind of looked like Butters from South Park.
Bitch.
Now I can't unsee that. Now I can't unsee that. I don't know if we ever showed pictures. I don't know why I just remember this when you're thinking about like old pictures. Or, you know, fucked up looking pictures. But I still have some pictures somewhere of Tom eating out of a cat box. It was at Escape. It was like a fetish party. And they were having, like, to get a prize, you had to, like, dig around with your mouth. It was kitty litter, but then they had, like, fucking, what do you call those? Tootsie Rolls in there.
Tootsie Rolls in it.
You know what I mean? So you had to go in there and get stuff out of your teeth, and I took some pictures of that. I don't know where they are. They're probably on my Facebook somewhere.
It's okay. I'm pulling up my other fucking...
Tammy
Roll
says
it
Tom's new name is Butters.
Guys are fucking bitches, man.
I always liked Butters. I thought he was a good character. You don't really look that much like Butters, but I can kind of see why people... The hair looked kind of the same. Yeah, Butters is the man. He is. I like Butters.
I was skinny then, man. I was 60 pounds lighter. I put on a lot of fucking...
Holy shit, really?
60, yeah. I only weighed...
I don't remember how much you weighed back then.
I probably weighed about 145, maybe 150.
Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't that much because I almost weigh... I weigh about 190 right now, so...
Okay. Well, yeah,
40 pounds or something. Yeah, 40 pounds.
That's really...
Most of it muscle. My head's now just a round ball. With fucking veins coming up the side of my fucking head and shit. But it's cool, though. It's better than fucking the direction I was going. I was not feeling good at all, man. Male menopause fucked me up.
Yeah, menopause.
So I started just injecting testosterone and shit. Fucking getting in the gym. Started feeling a lot better.
CB asked you to sing Wet Wet in the Butt.
I don't know that song. I don't know that song.
That's what Butters would always sing. Yeah, Victor said Butters is cool as fuck. I always thought so too. I like Butters. So don't be offended. I don't know if you're offended or not. But that is like really funny. Yeah, CB said I was going through the photos on my phone and found a picture of my grandfather who passed away a few years ago. Yeah, it was crazy because my dad he sent me this thumb drive. He sent it to all my siblings too. And I can't believe, like, he spent all this time, because there's, like, a million fucking photos on there. I couldn't fucking believe it. Because, like I said, I have 3 siblings. Like, they're all younger. And he had them, like, separated out into folders and, like, all. So, he messed up a couple times, because there was a couple in there that were in my folder that I was like, that's not me, that's my sister. You know what I mean? We do look alike, but not that much alike. I can tell, like, my baby pictures from her baby pictures. But yeah. I keep forgetting because Tom's like, well, why don't you put some of them on the show? And I'm like, oh yeah, and then I just forget to do it because they're over they're on a thumb drive, but I have to show them on the show. I'd have to put them on have to put them in OBS. You know what I mean? So I can put them up on the screen, and I keep forgetting to do that. Maybe I'll do it for the next week's show. Clyde said Butters was my mom's favorite. He was like, I think he was like one of the best characters. He was like the best character. I haven't seen South Park in a long time. All right, I gotta go pee.
I'm showing some friends from the 90s.
Friends from the 90s.
Yeah.
Since we're
That was pretty.
Memory lane.
That was. Hold on, let me darken it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they were wearing. We were wearing like that. That was about 94. No, not that. It wasn't that early. That was probably about 95, 96, around that time. Thing's moving slow. Okay. Shit. Found some pictures of my friend Javier. He was a goth DJ now. He was big back in the scene. He was friends with a bunch of people back in the day. He was friends with Roz Williams from Kristen Death. I think I got a picture of them hanging out. Man, this shit here. Here comes Jen.
Here I go.
My fucking phone.
Were you in my captain's chair?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I had to take over.
Were you in the Kirk chair?
This fucking phone is pissing me the fuck off.
Is it?
It's glitching.
What's it doing?
I don't know. Being slow and trying to open everything. And what it is it's downloading a bunch of updates and messages and shit like that because I haven't turned this on in days.
Oh, well, that's your own fault. CB said, Tom, did your school have a problem with the way you dressed? Because
No.
our school did with me and my friend, me and my friend dressed.
Well, when I went to school in Michigan, the goth thing hadn't happened really yet. But then I went back to Brazil. I went to 2 different high schools 3 different times. I went to high school in Brazil, then in Michigan, and then I went back to Brazil. I graduated in Brazil. In Brazil, I was in an international high school called Escola Graduada de São Paulo. And it was, you could only be fucking rich to go to that school. Fucking president's kids of Brazil was kids there. Some of the people that used to be royal family were in there. Government people and corporate people, their kids were in there. Like, so you ended up with like all the little girls, all the daughters of the dudes that worked at Toyota. They were all there. Not the boys, but the girls. The boys all stayed back in Japan. You could fucking... Your teachers there were scared of you. Basically. Because they didn't know who your parents were. Were they powerful cartel members or whatever? You know, and your parents paid a lot of money to go to that school. And it was pretty freewheeling, you know. You couldn't, like, go to school nude or anything, but you had people doing punk rock style, heavy metal, super yuppie, fucking 1950s Japan, fucking everything.
Yeah, nobody
cared.
Yeah, because High Desert said goth attire wasn't allowed at my school, which is crazy. Well, I mean, okay, so I went to school in the 80s and 90s. The only things, so I went to school in Florida, and the high school I went to was like literally across the street from the beach, like right across the street from the Atlantic Ocean. So girls would come there in nothing like skimpy, but they would always have their bathing suits on underneath because like you could leave for lunch and they would go and tan like on the beach. You just walk across A1A and just go lay on the beach for 45 minutes or whatever. So people would wear bathing suits. Honestly, nobody, as long as you didn't wear anything, they would get on your case if you wore anything that had swearing on it or that advertised booze or drugs. But as long as all your parts were covered up, they didn't really seem to care. We kind of looked pretty gothy. Like I said, my friend had like bondage pants and big like Robert Smith hair and eyeliner and shit like that, and nobody ever said nothing to him. Like they didn't send him home or nothing. So, like I said, as long as you weren't wearing anything like offensive, nobody really seemed to give a shit. I think the only time I ever got, and I didn't really get in trouble, and I think this might have been junior high, although I might be wrong about that. I think it was junior high. I wore a Power Station shirt, and if you guys remember that album that came out in the 80s, Power Station, it had like it's not like a photograph, it's like a drawing, like it's very stylized of like a naked woman, right? It's like a naked woman. It's kind of a nipple and everything. And it's a cool shirt. It was a black shirt with like a red design on it with the album cover. And I didn't get in trouble, but they said, can you like turn that inside out or put a jacket on over it or something like that? Because it had a nipple on it. Even though it wasn't like a real nipple, it was just a drawing. But that was the only time anybody said anything to me. So, And people had different colored hair and shaved heads. I had half my head shaved in high school, and had big combat boots and stuff like that, and nobody said anything to me. So, like I said, as long as you were covered up and there wasn't anything with like swear words on it, they didn't really give a crap. High Desert said, then again, my high school was in the Bible Belt. This was the 80s. Goth was satanic.
I found that outfit. That's the outfit I was wearing. I told you that was actually a costume. The coat was from a Civil War play, I believe. And I think that might have been like one of fucking Grant's coats or something, or maybe, I don't know. But that's what I wore back then. That was about 96, 97. And I got black gloves on and the fucking big fucking ruffled cuffs and shit, wearing makeup. Let me see if we can get a... What the fuck, man? My phone is fucked up, man. There it is. My phone has demons in it.
Demons?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Maybe goth is satanic.
So that was me as a fucking goth boy.
Yeah, High Desert said a friend of mine did the Robert Smith hair one day and promptly got sent home.
Yeah.
He said, I don't recall any metal or punk types at my school, mostly country and yuppie styles. That's a bummer. Yeah, I kind of feel like ours was... The school I went to was mostly like in a middle to upper class kind of area. So most of the kids were kind of, rich kids, kind of. So that most of them sort of looked like yuppies. But there was like a pretty large contingent of weirdos. Punks, goths, like nerds. Like we all kind of hung out together. It wasn't really like some metalheads. All kind of hung out together. So, but nobody really said anything about their clothes or anything.
I took this picture at the Goth Club. This was like 96, 97. That is at Man Ray in Boston. And I'm taking a picture of Tina Root from Switchblade Symphony up on stage. And in front that's just the girls. That's what you could get to wear. You can't really see everything, but little bonnets and shit. But that's Tina Root.
Yeah, remember them. They just have normal jobs now.
Yeah. She's a real estate. She's into real estate. What do you call it?
What, a real estate agent?
Real estate agent, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say broker.
Well, that's the thing too, but those are two slightly different.
Two different things, yeah.
I don't think it's that different, but it's slightly different, I think. Clyde says, I was goth in high school back in the early 2000s. And so many people thought I could curse people and shit.
Yeah.
Even in the 2000s, holy crap. We were getting that back in the 80s because nobody knew what the fuck goth was. And that was like height of satanic panic.
Yeah. That was me, goth out. That's like 95, 96 maybe.
Look at that handsome man.
Yeah. But that's actually a real 1800s frock coat. I just replaced the buttons on it because the buttons were made out of cork. They were cork with velvet stretched over them, and they started to kind of like rot and decompose. So I changed them all and just put metal buttons on. Yeah, but it's wool. It's thin, but it's wool. I still have it.
Yeah, that's right. You do, don't you?
I have it. Yeah, haven't worn it forever.
Well, you can't really wear wool in Florida. You'll die of heat exhaustion.
My shoulders are too big for it anyway.
Well, that's true. It doesn't really fit you anymore. But even if you could,
that's
the shitty thing. Is like I have all kind of cool jackets, like some of them are velvet and stuff like that. You can't ever wear that shit down here. It's too fucking hot. Too hot. I mean, today it was only now it's only, what does it say? 48 degrees. It's 48 degrees.
Yeah.
We went out today. We went to go get lunch at the Japanese place, and I think it was just 60 degrees, and it was kind of overcast, and I was like, whoa, it was so nice out. High Desert said, I work at an elementary school, and I saw a first grader with a Misfits shirt the other day.
It's funny.
I always wonder about, though, because the Misfits...
Parents probably brought that for.
Yeah, like their parents probably into it. But is the kid really into the Misfits? Because I kind of feel like there was a time where they would wear the Misfits shirts, or they'd have the patch or something like that, and I don't know if some people, I don't know if they knew what that was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just the skull design. Like I'm not really sure if they knew that was like a band or not. Some people I would see it and I'd be like, that person doesn't listen to Misfits. Come on now. But I don't know. I could see a first grader like digging the Misfits. Like if their parents played them all the time. Because they're very...
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if I had a first grader, I would totally play the Misfits for them. I would get them into good music.
I'm not sure Misfits is good music, though. It's okay.
It's okay music. I remember I grew up listening to a lot of them because my brother, who is 4 years younger than me, he learned to play guitar and bass by learning Misfits songs and Bad Religion to that also. But so his bedroom was next to mine, so I'd heard Misfits and Bad Religion like blaring through there all the time.
For those of you who don't know, Misfits was the original band that what's his name? Glenn Danzig was in it. And,
I think most people
and
know
Doyle and stuff was in it. But not, we don't know everybody.
Yeah, that's
listen to this recorded. And that was his first band. It was kind of like 50s sounding rockabilly, but it had like a punk rock vibe to it. It was okay. Some of the songs were good. A lot of the songs were just mediocre, if you ask me. He got a lot better though when Danzig started Samhain. I liked Samhain a lot better. Samhain started to go in a direction more that ended up being Danzig. And when he came out with his Danzig solo albums, they were really good. I was into that. Danzig 1, 2, 3, and 4. All that shit was good. I don't know about his recent stuff, but he does good covers too.
Yeah, he does.
He started hanging out with Johnny Cash. They writing songs for each other.
Yeah. Johnny Cash was a cool fucking dude, man. Like, he covered, most people know that he covered that Nine Inch Nails song, Hurt. Like, he did a great cover of that. But he also covered The Mercy Seat, that Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds song. And he did a really good cover of that. It sounds completely different than the original, but I kind of dig it. So I kind of like that, because he was an old man then.
Yeah. Yeah, on Danzig 3, there's a song on there called Going Down to Die. It's fucking, I love it. It's kind of like the final chapter for the Satanist as he's going down to willingly die because he ain't shit anymore. And I'd always heard that Johnny Cash either wrote it or helped him to write it. I don't know if it's true, but I haven't looked into it. But the lyrics sound like something Johnny Cash would have come up with. Pretty neat. It's funny that Johnny Cash understood the Satanism angle.
Yeah.
He understood it. He's like, yeah, you're a man in black too, you know.
Well, and the thing about it was that a lot of Johnny Cash's songs, and the reason that a lot of kind of goths and punks like resonated with his stuff was that all his stuff was essentially like murder ballads.
Kind of downbeat. Yeah.
I mean, Nick Cave covered a couple of his songs, and then he covered one of Nick Cave's songs, and he even did some originals, like in the 90s, like Delia's Gone, like about shooting your two-timing woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, a lot of their songs were like that. They were about, like, murdering people.
Then Johnny Cash, and then even the dude from Bauhaus, Peter Murphy, they started to hang out with the guy from Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails and started doing shit together, remember?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Doing covers of each other's fucking songs.
Yeah. It's crazy. The first time I saw Nine Inch Nails in 1990, and they were opening for Peter Murphy. And this was right after Deep came out, which was probably his biggest album, like his biggest solo album. And it was kind of funny because I had the Nine Inch Nails album, Pretty Hate Machine, which had like just come out. I only had it because my friend Dave like recorded it for me because I was too broke to buy it. So he's like, I'll give you a copy. So he gave me a copy. But I knew the album, so I knew all the songs, but it seemed like a lot of people there didn't. It took like a little while for like Nine Inch Nails to kind of like germinate like into the scene, I feel like, because a lot of people were just there to see Peter Murphy, and they're like, who the fuck are these people? Skinny puppy ripoffs. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like everybody has kind of had that kind of attitude. It's a good album though. Pretty Hate Machine is still a good album. Like they still play some of that stuff from that album at like the 80s night and stuff.
Fans asking if a sequel to The Big Lebowski would be good. I said no.
Nah,
no.
Just
leave it alone.
Leave that.
Leave it alone.
It's good the way it is. It doesn't need to be expanded upon, or I'm sure they'll probably do it at some point. But Victor said my first concert ever was Megadeth with the Misfits. I remember that tour. I didn't go, but I remember that tour. Wasn't my genre, but my best friend took me, and I'm glad I went. I was never super into Megadeth. I was like, I'm not a metal person. I appreciate metal. I do kind of like that. And there is some crossover, because there is like goth metal.
Yeah.
Kind of. So there's some bands that are kind of like in
Evanescence
the middle.
is kind of like that. Nightwish or Nightwing or what is that?
Nightwish. Aren't they called Nightwish?
Kind of like that. Nightwing is another band.
And then you have the case of the strange case of Fields of the Nephilim,
yeah,
who started out as a straight up goth rock band,
yeah,
and then went like death metal.
They're like black metal now, yeah.
Because I bought an album of theirs like several years ago, like, and I'd heard that they'd gone black metal, and like I listened to it and I was like, yep.
It's because there was an audience there. The goth audience for live music vanished. Can't fill a fucking stadium with that. So you need a bigger axe. I understand why they did it. It's still pretty good. It's
yeah,
not
I liked it still,
yeah.
but it's not like it doesn't sound anything
What
like
I
their
liked
old
is
stuff.
that
I don't think you would even think that was the same band.
What I liked about the Fields of Nephilim is that they kept the occult angle to their vibe.
Yeah.
And what they were supposed to be is they were kind of like, they were British guys, but they were supposed to be in the Old West, dealing with like Lovecraftian shit from the 1800s, and they looked like something from the 1800s Old West. They looked really cool. I'll show you guys what they look like. They had a really fucking good-looking band too. All the guys were good-looking. Goth girls were fucking crazy about that singer. What was that singer's name?
Carl McCoy.
McCoy. Yeah.
Just like on Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well,
Carl.
I think it's Carl McCoy. Yeah, like their early shit is like really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do have a couple of their newer albums where they're more black metal, but it's like not really what I liked them for, you know. Yeah, High Desert says some of the kids have Nirvana, Pink Floyd, and other band shirts, but I don't think they've even heard of them. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they just think it's like a cool design or something. It's hilarious though to think of. I mean, obviously, like Pink Floyd was an old band when I was growing up, but the weird thing was when I was in high school, there was like a big resurgence in 70s music, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, like all that kind of stuff. So everybody was really into that. But it's funny to think of Nirvana as an old band now, because I remember when that whole thing happened, but that was like a long time ago now.
That's a young McCoy in the very beginning of the band. And I'll show you what...
With that hair, he looks a little bit like Pete Burns.
Yeah.
From Dead or Alive.
And then...
Pete Burns' hair was slightly bigger than that.
started to go like that.
Yeah, they had like a dusty cowboy, goth cowboy.
Like they were out
vibe.
Finding fucking occult icons and shit out in the Old West.
But they were a very good band.
But yeah, very goth rock. Their old stuff was
real old, yeah.
But yeah, so. And, you know, it's Sisters of Mercy, obviously.
Yeah,
like,
Sisters
of Mercy, I kind of feel like their stuff was more kind of glam, like LA glam metal.
It went that way.
Kind of went that way.
Yeah.
Like, they started out as just a straight-up goth rock band, and then they kind of went with slightly metal with Floodland, and then, like, Vision Thing, they kind of went LA glam metal.
Yeah,
with, like, a little bit of a goth flavor.
Early Sisters of Mercy and early Fields of the Nephilim were real similar.
Yeah,
Kinda.
there was a lot of bands around that sounded like that, but I like that sound. And the thing about it is that like a lot of newer bands sound like that or sound similar. You can you know what? I was going to say you can tell they're newer, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Cuz I have like on my Spotify I have a lot of newer bands like on like Twin Tribes and stuff like that. And so it'll add stuff cuz I told it cuz on Spotify, I'm sure most of you know, but like you can have there's an option where they're like, well, do you want us to just randomly add shit that's similar to what you like? And I was like, sure, go for it. So sometimes like a song will come on and I'm like, what? Hey, this is good. It's like, wait, is this an old song or like sometimes I can't tell. A lot of times it's a new one, but it sounds like old ones.
That's the band.
Yeah, that was very much their.
That's them. That's
aesthetic.
what they look like.
I don't know what they look like nowadays, but
Same.
They look the same.
Same,
but they just
it's just metal now.
Now High Desert says I always thought Fields of the Nephilim was a Sisters of Mercy ripoff.
No, there was a lot of bands that sounded like that at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, if you're gonna say Sisters of Mercy ripoff, I'm gonna say maybe The Wake.
Yeah, that was a
But
ripoff. Yeah. They were good though.
I
too.
really like the Wake.
Yeah.
Though they were
Yeah.
like the American Sisters of Mercy. I think they're from Cleveland or something.
Yeah, well, what happened is Sisters of Mercy changed their act to just be more metal. They got away from the goth stuff. Some goth dude said, no, we like the old shit. So they went about to fill that niche in the market to do that goth.
Yeah, because people wanted more of that sound, and Sisters of Mercy weren't doing it anymore.
So
they're like, well, we're going to do it.
Right, and they kind of did it better than Sisters of Mercy in some ways. They weren't the originals, but they polished it up quite a bit.
Well, the thing about the Wake is that if you listen to them, you know that's not Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's voice is completely different. Like, the music is similar, but you can tell that's not them. Now, there is a band called the Daughters of Bristol.
Yeah, that's
that are like a straight up
tribute band.
Tribute, like they're all original songs. They don't cover them, but when I first heard them, I was like, is this Andrew Eldritch slumming and like pretending he's in another band? Like it sounds like old Sisters of Mercy, like a lot, and like even his voice sounds the same. We actually went to Will's Pub. What was it, like a year ago, 2 years ago, or something like that, and saw a Sisters of Mercy tribute band called the Temple of Mercy.
Yeah, they were good too.
And they were actually really good. So they actually just do Sisters of Mercy songs that sound like Sisters of Mercy.
But the Nephilim always did this weird kind of occult motifs to everything with 1800s. And there was all kinds of... Now it's black metal and it has references to like Lovecraftian type stuff. Cosmic horror and shit. Yeah. They're cool. Not my thing anymore. You didn't really, I wish they would have stayed the way they were, but they just went where the market took them.
Yeah, which, like I said, that's fine. I mean, they still... I'm not going to complain if a band wants to go in a different direction, because it's like, hey, I still have your old shit. I can just listen to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I don't like the new stuff, I'm not going to bitch about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't get too upset. Yeah, Hydozer said Carl McCoy was in a movie called Hardware. Yeah, that's right. He was like a post-apocalyptic wanderer.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of... We should review that one of these days. Maybe I should write that down.
I remember when it first came out, the girls were talking about how fucking... The little punk rock girls fucking loving that dude.
Yeah, he was never like my big thing, I think, but... I was a Peter Murphy girl.
Yeah.
And Nick Cave, even though he's kind of funny looking.
Another one that was
kind of sexy.
Kind of a sister's ripoff was Rosetta Stone. I think wasn't it Rosetta Stone?
Yeah. They kind of sound more like Sisters of Mercy than
like they're trying to rip
than the Wake does.
Yeah, they're trying to rip Sisters of Mercy off Rosetta Stone. They were good,
but they're a good band too.
They still play their shit at the club.
They do, yeah. But like I said, if you're gonna talk about, I think the one that sounded most like Sisters of Mercy, but that were their own thing, was the Wake.
The Wake, yeah.
Because
they're pretty solid.
Yeah, like and some of their stuff sounds more like Sisters of Mercy than others. Yeah. And like I said, you can tell it's not Sisters of Mercy because the guy's voice is completely different.
Yeah.
But
and if you just want more Sisters of Mercy, it sounds like Sisters of Mercy go for the Daughters of Bristol.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah. That's all on YouTube. You can see it for free.
Who sound pretty much exactly like Sisters of Mercy. Like old Sisters of Mercy.
It is straight up Sisters of Mercy
but
tribute.
It's the original music. They don't cover them.
Yeah, no covers. It's just a tribute. It's like you're finding missing albums from them. You're like, oh wow, Yeah,
because that dude's voice sounds a lot.
Sounds just like fucking Andrew Eldritch.
It does sound like a lot like him. High Desert said we're just talking about 9 Inch Nails. I didn't like Pretty Hate Machine. I did love the Downward Spiral. Yeah, that was a great album too. I guess I don't know, man. I just I haven't listened to Pretty Hate Machine like all the way through in a long time. Probably the last time I did was sometime in the 90s. You know what I mean? But I hear songs from it at the club. Like, they'll throw on, like, they usually play, obviously they play Head Like a Hole all the time, but it's like sometimes they'll throw on, like, Ring Finger or something. But I don't think I've sat and listened to the whole thing for a long time. But I remember listening to it a lot, like, back in the 90s. But I was never a real big 9 Inch Nails fangirl. Like, I like them. They're a good band. And, like, if they come on at the club, I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, if I feel like dancing to them. But I'm kind of ambivalent. They're one of those bands where it's just kind of like, do I want to dance to this or not? Or it's just, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, some bands, like, I'm immediately getting out there and dancing. Like, I don't care what song it is. But 9 Inch Nails, I'm always kind of like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this or not.
Another one of the goth bands that kind of sounded like
Sisters of Mercy was the Mission. The Mission UK was the Sisters of Mercy.
Well, yeah.
Andrew Eldridge got kicked out, but he owned the name.
Right.
So the band became the Mission UK. And their first album I thought was really good.
Yeah.
But it started to go too soft.
As time went on, they kind of sounded more and more like U2.
Exactly. Now, they got to an album. The last album I got from them was called God's Own Medicine.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I have it. I think it's in the other room.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Bono singing. You're like, man, this sounds like fucking...
They really went full on U2.
It sounded like for you too. But you know what? I listened to it recently. I go, it's good though.
Yeah.
Because it is goth. It's just that they're trying to sound like U2. Now you would think that that's kind of crazy. But Bono and The Edge, their cousins, are in another band that is goth as fuck. Called the legendary Pink Dots.
No, the Virgin Prunes.
Virgin Prunes, yeah. Goth as fuck. Legendary Pink Dots is another band. But the Virgin Prunes is really good. And they're kind of related to U2.
Yeah.
They sound really good. It's
like The Edge's cousin or something.
Yeah, and I think Bono's cousin's in it too.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, they're all kind of in the
They're
same.
all kind of related.
I really like the Virgin Prunes. Now, see if they play the Virgin Prunes at the club, then I'm getting right out.
Yeah.
Those first. They don't play them that much.
The first like three or four U2 albums I liked. I really liked War and I really liked Boy.
Yeah, I like early U2 was really
good. Kind of reminded me of the Police.
Which I love the Police,
but with a better darker angle to it.
Yeah,
it looked good. And then they came out with Joshua Tree. I liked it, but that shit was so mainstream.
That's when it was kind of start. I liked Joshua Tree, but I didn't get anything after that. I was just kind of like, yeah, I see the direction this is going. I'm just kind of like,
they were fucking gonna. That was top 20, not even top 40, top 20.
That shit was everywhere, everywhere.
That was playing right alongside Michael Jackson and shit.
Or whatever was popular.
Yeah, once you get that
was
high,
87 when that came out.
Yeah, once you get at that level, fucking goths are gonna check the fuck out. They're like, no.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. Not to, because I love Susie and the Banshees. They're probably one of my favorite bands ever. But when that, when Kiss Them For Me came out, what was the name of that album? Superstition. Was that on Superstition? It's purple. Like it was like lavender.
It was lavender, and she's standing there in a gold outfit.
Yeah, or silver or something.
I think it might have been called I think it might have been Superstition.
Yeah, but it's like when that song came out, I was like,
yeah.
And they play that a lot at the club too, and I'm just like, man, I love Susie, but I really wish they'd play any song other than this one.
It was a very poppy album.
Yeah, which I didn't love it because their old shit was like so weird.
Tinderbox and shit was real fun.
Tinderbox is my favorite.
It was like goth shit.
That's still my favorite album of theirs.
Kind of a sinister sound to it.
But so it's just kind of like the thing where you go to the 80s night, it's like, you know, most of the people there are like us, they're our age, they remember like a lot of the more obscure shit, but they're also trying to appeal to people that don't know a lot about it, so they tend to stick with, they'll throw a curveball in there sometimes, because I'm like, whoa, they're playing this, that's crazy, but, you know, usually they try to stay with more, like, better known stuff. So it's like, so if they play Susie and the Banshees, they're probably going to play Kiss Them For Me. Now, sometimes they'll play Spellbound or something like that. Yeah. But that's still a fairly well-known song. The only thing that makes me mad is that every time they play Echo and the Bunnymen, and I love Echo and the Bunnymen. They're actually like the first band that I saw live, like back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They always play Lips Like Sugar, and I'm just like, God damn it. It's like, that's an okay song, but it's like, man, I'm sick of that song.
Yeah, they have a lot
of had a
good
bajillion.
Real good ones.
I was like, what? They never play Back of Love? They never play The Cutter or The Puppet or...
I know those songs. I've never had any of those albums, but every time a new song shows up off that fucking album, I love it. So every song on that album must be really good. Now,
all of their songs are good. I've never heard a bad song.
High Desert's asking me... he said that Mission UK became more hippie-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what happened.
Which...
Like after after God's Own Medicine, it started to go fucking kind of like Renaissance festival looking fucking shirts and fucking kind of upbeat and kind of happy-ish. But like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
We don't like
this
happy.
Is not what this came from.
Knock it off.
Yeah, and they're still trying. They're still trying to keep certain goth elements to their look.
Right.
But it's not real well done.
Yeah.
They started to get kind of cheap looking.
like another band that was a Welsh band that I like called Gene Loves Jezebel.
Yeah, they're a good band.
They're real good. And I had like 3 or 4 of their albums. The first 2 albums are really good. Like it was called The Porter or the Cole, or I think it was called the
Well,
Porter.
I have one called Discover that's on.
That's the second one.
That's the second
The first one was
one.
Immigrant.
Yeah, that's right.
Immigrant and Discover. Fucking.
Oh, I think I had that
excellent.
one too. I have them on vinyl.
Yeah, excellent.
Someplace.
I met one of. They're 2 twins,
Yeah.
and they're from Wales. And they were always fighting, and they broke up, and it became 2 different bands called Gene Loves Jezebel because they both owned the names for it. So you
So
didn't
it's
know
like
who you were going to
Jay
see.
Aston's Gene Loves
Yeah, the
Jezebel
Aston
and
were
Michael
twins.
Aston's
The Aston
Gene
twins.
Loves Jezebel.
And they were very good, very fucking talented. You can see a live show of them off the Discover tour on YouTube for free. It's good.
Yeah, I was.
I was addicted to those first 2 albums, and they were from Wales, and they were kind of like The Cure, a little bit, but it's kind of a darker tone to them. The only thing I didn't like about Gene Loves Jezebel was their clothes. They looked like old ladies, kind of some old ladies would wear.
They were super into like scarves and
Scarves and floppy looking shit.
Moo-moos.
Yeah, moo-moo looking shit. Kind of dumb
like just
looking.
like long.
Yeah.
They really liked long kind of. It was kind of hippie-ish, I guess. They looked
Yeah,
hippie.
yeah, but it was goth.
But I liked their music though.
We ran into one of the twins downtown.
Well, we saw them
Saw them live. Yeah,
at Will's Pub.
Will's Pub. It was Gene Loves Jezebel, but it was just one of them.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was.
Yeah, was
I
that
talked
was
to
that
him.
Michael or Jay? I can't remember.
I talked to him. He was cool. Before the show, he thought I was going to beat his ass. 'Cause it's kind of, it was, you know, Will's Pub is like a fucking Florida's version of a fucking like punk rock bar. It was
Yeah.
then. It's
And
not
been
now.
there a million
Been there
years.
forever. It's kind of like our version of fucking CBGBs. It's like that. And I saw him laying up there, and then he was a lot older, you know. He got a lot, and I just walked up to him and says, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, this motherfucker," because you know I didn't look the part, you know. I looked like I do now, you know. And I said, "I just want to thank you for all your work." I said, "I fucking grew up listening to your albums, man. It was so fucking fun, man. I had to fucking discover." And I said, I had the Immigrant, I got Discover, and I named a couple of other ones that I got. And he said, and he goes, "What, did you get any new ones?" He's talked about other ones. He says, "No, I didn't get those." He said, "What happened?" And I said, "I joined the Army." He's like, "Oh, joined the Army, and life happened, and it was good to see you back." "Oh, thank you. Yes, we kind of grew up together." That's what he said. I said, "Yeah, we grew up together." He's by himself, you know.
Yeah,
There were just 3 of them. And then he starts playing, and a part of the audience left because they came to see the opening band, because they were a local band. And after they left, fucking, he goes to the audience. He says, "Now it's just us, y'all."
So we all got
he
it.
said, "We all grew up together. We're all laughing." Yeah. Fucking, he's singing.
Everybody was singing along.
Sing
and it's
along
like,
with him
He
and
thought
shit.
that was so cool.
Yeah.
So
So,
like everybody knew all the songs.
yeah, he's singing Rhino the Plasty and all kinds of fucking classics off the old shit.
The Cow.
The Cow.
I love that song,
Mm.
actually. Oh, High Desert said, Gene Loves Jezebel looked like punk Mrs. Roper.
Yeah, Punk Mrs. Roper. Exactly. Look like Maud. Look like Maud or one of the Golden Girls or some shit like it.
Punk mod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many scarves, you guys.
Yeah.
So many scarves.
But their
and
sound was
hose.
great.
Yeah.
Their sound was great. And they put on a good show. They just didn't like how they looked.
I kind of feel like it's a lot of the bands that I liked when the late 80s came along,
Yeah.
and this happened with Gene Loves Jezebel too, is that they started getting more poppy.
Yeah.
Like even Gene Loves Jezebel had that song, what was that fucking single that came out? Motion of Love?
Yeah.
I
Real
did not,
poppy.
I did not like that song. I bought it, but I was like,
Yeah.
this is not.
The problem is that they get bills that they got to pay, and they've been around for a long time. So they said, "We need to go for the big market."
Yeah, they're like sick of
Yeah. And
you
that's
know,
not
having any money.
And that
I
doesn't
get
work.
it.
A band like that doesn't work. They're fucking... That band should have stayed together, but they couldn't because they were constantly fighting. And they needed to fucking cater to their market, which was the goth scene.
It's
But they
like-
wouldn't be goth. That was the thing. They wouldn't look goth. They wouldn't fucking act goth.
Yeah.
They wanted their own little thing.
What is it like? Bands that was made of brothers like
Yeah.
never work out. Look
Yeah.
at fucking Oasis or
Right.
Jesus and Mary Chain.
Yeah.
They're always fighting.
And they stuck to their roots, which would be a club band for an underground club scene. They would still have been big in the goth scene.
Yeah.
But they broke into 2 bands that didn't sound alike.
Yeah.
And nobody knew who was coming. If you say, "Okay, Gene Loves Jezebel's coming," which one?
Which one is it? Which brother?
It's
is
like
it?
they were 2 Christian deaths for a while.
That's true, yeah.
You didn't know if it was going to be Roz Williams or Valor.
Is it going to be the good one or the kind of sucky one?
Valor wasn't bad.
No,
it's just he wasn't Roz Williams. He was good. It was just a different band.
But I kind of feel like if people were going to see Christian Death, they were going to see Roz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't really want to see
Yeah,
Valor,
he was kind of the mysterious one.
You know? Even though I will admit, it took me a while. Like, I didn't like the Valor stuff either, but it's like, it's kind of grown on me over the years.
He had some good songs. And then Chaton Damon was with him.
No, I love her.
She would do great covers with him and shit.
I love her. She's got a gorgeous voice.
They did a cover of Jimi Hendrix's 1983 A Merman I Should Turn to Be. She does it in those fucking really weird fucking vocals, female vocals that she has.
Yeah.
She got a real smoky voice.
Yeah, she did all this kind of loungy, kind of, which I love that kind of shit.
She's big into like fetish scenes. She's wearing fucking bondage gear all the time and shit. And I saw a video of her from like only 2 years ago. She still looks great. She's got to be 60 something by now.
Yeah, she's got to be fucking.
Because I think
she's got to be older than us.
Because I think she was in her 40s then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought she was older.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up.
That was one of Roz's buddies.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
CB said I have to get up early tomorrow, so good night. Well, if you're still here, good night. Good luck tomorrow. I met Chitane Damone once. She wanted me to sell me her house. Did you buy it? Where was it? She's cool. Yeah, I always really liked her voice and her music and stuff. I kind of feel like the same thing happened. I mean, I'm trying to think of like bands that I really liked, like in the early 80s that kind of went more poppy in the late 80s. That I was thinking like Gene Loves Jezebel, Echo and the Bunnymen, because they released that album that was just called Echo and the Bunnymen that had Lips Like Sugar on it. And it's just kind of, it was a good album. It's a good album. But it just went like poppier. And then you had, who else was I just thinking of that went like that too? Shit. Man, I just thought of it. Okay, I'll think of it again in a minute. But there was like a lot of bands that kind of went in that direction, and I don't know, just it kind of bummed me out a little bit because I kind of felt like a lot of the stuff in the earlier 80s was kind of more. It was just like more diverse. It was a little more rough sounding. It was just I don't like real slick sounding stuff. I like some stuff from the more slicker stuff from the 80s now that it's like divorced from context. Like at the time in the 80s, I wasn't real into you know how you had the kind of like white boy soul thing happening with like ABC and like the Blow Monkeys and stuff like that. And it's like I didn't love that at the time because like I said, it just seemed like a little too slick for me. Yeah. But I like it more now than I did back then. You know? Yeah. I kind of have more appreciation for it just because like I said, it's kind of not in the context of the time anymore because you heard it everywhere back then and now you don't really hear it as much anymore.
We got people there talking about Chaton Damone.
Yeah. He said she wanted to sell me her house.
Yeah. Said she's still dressed like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show some pictures of Chaton for people who don't know who we're talking about.
It's like she still dresses like that, great shape, but she freaked my realtor out.
Yeah.
I guess. He said it was in Joshua Tree. She said it was too far to commute to LA. I didn't buy her house, though. I don't know. Yeah. How funny would that be? Just kind of coming across somebody, like, randomly like that. I'm still laughing about Punk Mrs. Roper.
I'm going to show some classic pictures of Chaton. That was her. That's her. Okay.
She looks a little in the face. Maybe that's just that picture. She always looked a little bit like Jarbo from the Swans. A little bit. Too.
These are early photos of her.
Not so much there.
Hold on, let me.
Just that one picture she did.
Okay, hold on.
I was trying to think. Oh, the other band that I was thinking of that kind of went more poppy in the '80s was late '80s was Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I really, really like early Psychedelic Furs, like their first 3 albums. But then they did that one. What's that one that came out in about 87, 88? Midnight to Midnight. That has Heartbreak Beat on it.
Yeah, I didn't like it when it first came out.
It's yeah, it's still my. I think probably Forever Now, which came out in '82. I think that's still my favorite one. Like just from front to back. Like I can listen to that whole thing and every song on it is good. But their first one's good too, which is called Talk Talk Talk. That's got the original Pretty in Pink on it. Because the one that was in the movie in '85, they did another version. But I like the old version better, like the 81 version. It's punkier. Honestly, the movie is kind of... It's not really based on that song, but it kind of. Because Molly Ringwald really liked that song, the 81 version. And she showed it, or played it for John Hughes. And he kind of wrote a movie, not really around it, but sort of inspired by it. And then he got Psychedelic Furs to do another version of the song for the movie. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna show some old creepy old photographs of her. These fucking photographs used to trip me out fucking back in the day. There was a time they were kind of everywhere. And there's one from an album cover that she had from Christian Death. It's Catastrophe Ballet.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's got her
I got that album somewhere.
nude on the cover of it with her eyes erased from the photo. It's just creepy as shit. Yeah. Yeah, when you saw that shit back in the 90s, you're like, man, what the fuck is this? And that had some Roz Williams songs on it. It wasn't just Roz Williams. Or it wasn't just Fowler.
I just said I really like Diamanda Glass. Yeah, she's great. I'd love to see her live. Yeah, I've never seen her live. She's kind of a freakazoid too. I'm kind of into that. I love all that kind of shit, man.
There used to be a famous picture of her laying on a bed with a damn Mauser 98 pistol stuck in her mouth. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find that one.
Phantom's asking what Monday's movie review is going to be. I have no idea. He said werewolves. Maybe we might go to the movie theater and see it if it's playing. But maybe if not, we'll find something else. I don't know what. We'll come up with something. Maybe Dead Man's Shoes, since everybody keeps asking about it. You know, I gotta pee again.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, trying to find some of these old photographs. I forgot all about these. Yeah. Old school stuff, man. 84. That was the generation before me and Jen. Let's see. Trying to find that photograph of her on the bed. She did a lot of fetish type stuff too. She did a lot of solo material. It's pretty good. Fuck is that thing? Boomers. Oh, okay. Chantilly Lace wants me to do a review of 13th Warrior. Why do you want me to review that one?
Is that the one?
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah,
It was
that's right.
based on a book called Eaters of the Dead that my dad thought was real. He thought it was real, and I was reading it too, and I said,
Didn't we watch that?
I thought it was real too. Until Jen fucking told me, says, no, that wasn't real. That was a...
I thought we watched that.
Yeah, it was historical fiction.
Yeah. Sometimes I gotta tell you, no, that's not real. Oh my god. Alright, so...
What's everybody saying?
Yeah,
No,
So-
13th Warrior is not Beowulf.
no, that's a completely different story.
Completely different story.
Well, he's saying... I mean, it's similar to Beowulf. The story is kind of similar.
13th Warrior was based on a book called Eaters of the Dead.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it's not old. It's new.
I don't know what... I don't know what all of this is about.
Klaus.
I'm not really sure. But I'm just rolling with it, kind
Yeah.
of. I'm just rolling with it.
Somebody was asking something earlier on.
Where?
Okay.
Oh, CB asked, well, he's gone now, but you can answer it anyway. What do you think about Black Sabbath after they fired Ozzy Osbourne?
Okay. All right, so he's getting back into metal.
Yeah. Like I said, he's gone now. He went to bed.
Well, Black Sabbath was great with Ozzy. Ozzy left, did a solo career. They replaced Ozzy with a new dude named Ronnie James Dio. Ronnie James Dio was this magical little elf, man. That motherfucker was cool as shit. He could. I think the good move that they made is that they did not get an Ozzy Osbourne impersonator. They got somebody who was totally different. And Dio could sing. He kind of had like a classical type range. He could write really fucking cool lyrics. They had kind of an occult, mystical quality to him. He was kind of dualistic. He would fucking talk about the dark side and the light side. He'd mix it together. So he was real versatile. And I think Black Sabbath did well under Ronnie, better than Dying. And I've had albums from both. Fucking now later on, Ronnie went solo, made the first Dio album, which is a solo album, Holy Diver, and it's pretty good. It was when I first heard that shit, Holy Diver, I was like, man, this is some wild shit. It was really hard driving, and it was kind of had a sacrilegious kind of theme, you know, the devil throwing a priest into the fucking water on the cover of it. Holy Diver.
High Desert says, do you have Shudder? Yes, we do. So if you have any recommendations in that regard, like, let me know.
Yeah.
But Cloud says, I used to be a regular viewer a couple of years ago, having a beer, and I gotta say I miss chilling with y'all.
Okay, good.
When do you do the regular episodes? Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
At 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we also do a movie review on Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then we always do this show on Friday night.
And Jen puts out her own videos of reviews of books and movies.
Yeah, like I usually those are recorded.
Yeah, she makes a lot of those. Yeah.
I put up a book review yesterday, and I just put up a review of the movie Strange Darling. I recorded one today for the movie Azrael, which is on Shudder, and I put that up on Sunday probably.
I think you ought to try to stream one of them a week. See what happens.
Maybe. I mean, sometimes I don't have time, but
It's probably in a different crowd.
it might be.
Might get some super chats.
Yeah, we'll see. I have thought about doing that, but
Yeah.
I was trying to do like more Christmas shit, but there's a couple more movies that I want to watch before I get into the Christmas shit. I did read a Christmas horror. It's not, well, it's a ghost story. So I did a review of that, but I'm not going to put that up till next week probably. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So I might do like some more Christmas horror movies. Yeah, Victor says, Google it. Michael Crichton said Eaters of the Dead is a retelling of Beowulf.
Okay, well, maybe he...
And Ahmad ibn Fadlan? I can't read that. Accounts of his travel.
Yeah, but that good dude didn't exist.
Yeah.
Ibn Fadlan didn't exist. It's a fictional character.
Yeah.
And I read the book. Yeah, it's called
Like
Eaters of the Dead.
Kind of like the guy that wrote the Necronomicon.
Yeah, it's like a dude wrote it. Yeah. And the book was better than the movie. And the book is being presented to you as if it's a historical document where they said, we found this old book and some of it's missing, so we're going to start right here. You know what I mean? And it gives
it's like a found footage.
But it's like found footage, but it's not. It's all. I bought it. I bought into it at the time. I thought it was real. It's not, though.
Yeah, I just said on Shudder they uploaded a bunch of ghost stories for Christmas, the old British horror shorts. Yeah, I saw they did that. Yeah, and they have Whistle and I'll Come to You, which I actually saw. That's a classic ghost story. And I've seen that, but it was like a long time ago. But I noticed that I was on there the other day because, like I said, I was watching Azrael, and I noticed that they had uploaded a bunch of those. So I'm gonna have to like get into those like before Christmas. Phantom says I just got Communion 1989 on VHS because of y'all talking about it.
Shit. How dare you?
Oh my god.
How dare you?
Please tell me that somebody made a GIF of that somewhere. Yeah. There has to be one.
Yeah. It's the best thing ever. It's the weirdest fucking thing ever, that fucking movie.
It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And it's like, and the
Christopher Walken gets butt-horked by an alien vacuum cleaner hose, goes up his ass, and when it comes back out, goes on the wall, he looks at the aliens and goes, how dare you?
Yeah, he doesn't even get that.
He didn't even get all that mad about it, just like...
He's just slightly indignant.
Yeah. And then the dancing aliens look like fucking toast. Look like slices of toast, the aliens, remember that?
The weird... You know
or
what
pieces of fucking...
You know what the weirdest thing... Like, we reviewed the movie, and I don't know if I said this on it, but I said the weirdest thing about the movie is that it doesn't seem to think that it's weird. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's like, then when you watch it, you're like, what the fuck was this person think? Like, Whitley Strieber wrote the novel, and it's supposedly based on a thing that really happened to him, and I'm just like...
An ongoing thing.
Okay.
He's crazy.
Well, now, I'm not going to shit on him too hard, because he did write The Hunger, that the fantastic 1983 movie, vampire movie was based on.
He's got sleep paralysis. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. You just, no one is putting... Aliens aren't putting a vacuum cleaner hose up your butt.
If the aliens
as
wanted
much as you might want them to.
If the aliens wanted you, they'd have you by now.
Victor says alien probes made me gay.
It was kind of like a scary UFO movie or a scary alien abduction type movie, similar to like Fire in the Sky. It's kind of like that.
Fire in the Sky is like
Fire in the Sky is a lot
better. It's way better.
Fire in the Sky was rational. It had a clear beginning, middle, and end. The movie made sense. It was a story. From what I remember of Whitley Strieber's movie, it was just a hodgepodge of a bunch of weird occurrences. It didn't really have a story. From what
I remember I read the book when I was younger, and I was like, man, this dude is so full of
Communion.
shit. But then I saw the movie, and I didn't remember anything about it. But then, like, when we rewatched it for the review, I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't remember it being this fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, just the tone of it is so bizarre.
And it's a Christopher Walken movie.
It's so bizarre.
It's a Christopher Walken. And he's fucking with you. He's got to be fucking with you. He's probably like, this is the weirdest shit. This is the movie that they give me.
He's like, I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna get weird with it. Like, I'm gonna get even weirder with it.
Yeah, they are paying me for this, you know. Wow. Because it seems like he can't keep a straight face through some of this shit.
It does seem like that. Because I did kind of notice, I'm like, is he like cracking up? Because I would be cracking up if I was in this movie. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me with this. This is not really happening. Oh yeah, High Desert also points out Strieber also wrote The Wolfen, which is also a pretty good movie. Yeah. Man, I've been wanting to review that for a really long time. I like that movie. But I don't remember. Did I read the book? Probably. I think I read the book when I was
That doesn't mean he's not a crazy person, though.
Well, yeah, you can rank good books and still be a crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, those two aren't mutually exclusive. Yeah. Tammy says, now you know what your reaction will be when you get pegged, Tom.
Oh, yeah?
How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah. The girls in these fantasies.
Oh my god, we should do like a funny, but I don't have to actually peg you, but we can just like pretend. We can have like some like a collapsing dildo or something if they make
that is so funny that.
And then you can just be like,
so funny you guys mentioned this because I was watching this. I was watching I subscribed to one of the Korean channels, and these Korean girls who are fucking milquetoast as shit. They just seem super innocent. They're telling them about what the most popular porn categories are in the United States, and they were kind of appalled because you see porn's illegal in Korea. They can't have it. So over there, porn sites are like fucking underground. You know, they're like a criminal outfit. But they're talking about Pornhub, and the girls were kind of shocked. They're like, "Oh yeah, I guess it's legal over there. Huh? That's actually a brand." Like, yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah.
Well, they were going through the top 10 list of what was most popular on Pornhub. During what ended up being most popular was hentai.
Yeah.
And below that was lesbian.
Yeah.
And but what was funny is during all this commentary about shit, one of the categories that came up was anal.
Yeah.
And little Korean chick, she's like the most innocent one. She goes, "Oh yeah, I like guys' asses." So she says, "I like guys' butts." And then the other ones are like, "You like guys' butts?" It's like, she goes, "Yeah, I like a guy with a big butt."
And the people behind the camera are like, "Who's gonna tell her?"
Yeah. And she goes, "I think of guys' butts about 90 times a day."
Wow.
And then the other girl goes, "Yeah, me too."
They're like, "You guys really just
weird? They just think about guys' butts."
So this thing about fucking pegging dudes
I
and
don't
dudes'
usually
ass,
think about dudes.
I think
butts,
it's universal with these women, man. Now she didn't say she's talking about pegging the dude, but she said she thinks of dudes' butts or sees dudes' butts and thinks about them fucking 90 times a day.
That's a lot.
So she's probably exaggerating, but
Well, yeah.
she just says all the time.
I don't think about.
I
don't think about dudes' butts.
She's about 20.
as
She's
much
young.
as
She's
that.
about 25.
Even when I was that age, I didn't. I had a million
I can
other
show
things
you.
to think about.
I
believe you.
Saying it. Yeah.
I'm just saying that personally, I don't think about dudes' butts all that much. You know what I mean?
Says she thinks about it 90 times a day.
Damn. How does she get anything else done?
Mm-hmm. You look at her and she's like the fucking meekest looking one.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch this normal
Blue curly hair. Yeah.
Yeah, Victor says every time I see a pegging meme, I send it to Jenny. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Sometimes I remember to show him to Tom, but sometimes I just laugh and like. Victor said, "I think of dudes' butts a lot."
Yeah.
I don't. I
That's
just.
Victor's job almost.
I don't know. I like butts and everything, but it's like I don't know. I probably think about dicks more than butts, but even that's like not a lot, you know. No more than an average. Heidel said, "I've had sleep paralysis, but never experienced anything up my butt." LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only had it one time, and it was like pretty realistic. It wasn't anything about like aliens or anal probes or anything. It was just like a dude standing in my bedroom door with a baseball bat.
Every time I've had it, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, I knew too.
I knew what this is.
For a fraction of a second, I was like, "Shit!" But then I was like, "Oh wait, that's not real."
Yeah.
Even though it looked real, it didn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything
I
weird
looked-
about it.
I looked at the wall and saw a face coming out of the wall, and it didn't even scare me because I knew. I was like, nah, I'm just, this is just sleep paralysis. And then the dream changed. I was awake and dreaming at the same time. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. And you can't move.
Yeah. Clyde gave us a super chat. Said, "Good to be back." Well, we're glad you're back.
Thank you, bet. Thank you.
Heidel said we need a "How dare you" button.
Yeah, how dare you. Yeah, it needs a button. You ought to get that. We'll lift that out of there.
It's so funny.
Lift that shit out of that movie. We don't have a copy of it.
I fucking died
But you
laughing.
can kind of like have it fucking like, where's that raccoon? You can just go, how dare you?
Yeah. every time somebody says something fucked up,
Yeah.
you can just say,
And you got to have a fucking one of the hose going up into the wall.
Into the wall.
After it came out of his booty.
that was the best part
And
of
the
it.
bitch was like 2.5, 3 inches in diameter. They weren't going easy on him. They were wide mouthing him.
I mean, I hope they lubed it.
Yeah.
He didn't really seem all that upset about it.
Yeah.
I think he kind of dug it secretly.
Well, he was smirking. Remember?
That's what I'm saying.
He's looking at the camera. How dare you? And he starts smirking. Like, I think Walken was like, what kind of fucking movie?
Well,
is
because
this?
I was having all kind of thoughts like when we were watching this movie, because all I could think of was like there's a whole crew and like a director and stuff like that. And can you imagine like the director having to say, "Okay, Chris, in this scene, you are gonna have aliens like take this little Dyson thing out of the wall and stick it up your butt."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Oh, Victor sent us a super chat too and says, "How dare you?"
What he is?
He says, "How dare you?"
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victor.
The
But it's just like, so I kind of thought about this whole context around it that I don't think I'm not an actor, but it's like I don't think I'd be able to keep a straight face during a scene like that.
They're paying you. And you know what I mean? And
like if that happened to you in real life, it's not
Yeah.
funny, but it's just like in a like, you know what I mean? But like in a movie.
Walken's probably like, hey, I got this house I got to pay for. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, okay, yeah. And he's probably reading through this shit. I imagine everybody working on that movie is
They're
like,
probably all
what the fuck is
snickering
this
like
shit? Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. He's like, okay, let's do that then. They probably just thought it was a fucking trip.
Okay, today
I remember
is
when
the
all that shit
vacuum
happened.
butt scene.
It was on the back. It was on the back of this shit that happened at Harvard University. I remember I was up in Boston when it happened. Dude came out with a book called Communion. And all he said is that the alien abduction experience is a real phenomenon. He's not saying they're actually being abducted by aliens. He's saying these people actually believe that they're being abducted by aliens.
Right, that's what he meant by the phenomenon.
Yeah, and he was a Harvard professor. And because he said that, and he was going, he was promoting his book and going through the fucking talk shows and shit. And he was kind of, from what I remember, he was being kind of deliberately cagey about it. You know, was it real? And he's like, well, you know,
He didn't want to say no.
They believe it's real.
They believe it's real, and there's some evidence that maybe there's something, behind this, just shit like that. And because of that, there was a lot of fucking curiosity about it. A lot, probably from like middle-aged old ladies, probably were the ones that probably were most interested in it back in those days. Daytime talk show watchers. So it could have been that the movie was targeted more at them. And now, evidently, Streamer did say that there was some fucking anal probes and shit like that. Well, you could sell that concept to some of these middle-aged old ladies. Oh, yeah, pegging, that's what, they're pegging them.
They're all like, oh, no, that's terrible. And they're like,
they're going to pay to go see Christopher Walken. He's probably in his late 40s, mid-40s at that time. Fucking see Christopher Walken in an alien scenario where a big fucking hose goes up his booty. Yep. And they sucked something out of him. Like they really wanted his dookie. Oh shit, more money. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. He also says,
how dare you? Yeah. Fucking right.
This just is, it's such a fucking weird movie.
Movie.
I can't even explain
how fucking weird it is. He got it because people were talking about it. What's his experience with it? Who was it that got it again? Who got the movie?
What are you talking about?
Somebody in the chat said that they got the movie because we were talking about it.
Oh, Phantom said.
Phantom said that. Okay,
Phantom said that. Yeah.
What do you think of it, Phantom?
Well, I don't know if he's watched it yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, let me know. It's like, to me, it's just I don't even know how to explain like why it was so weird to me. I can't really figure out. I can't figure out who the intended audience was. I can't figure out if some people were taking it seriously and some people weren't. I suspect that's the case.
Yeah.
Because just like tonally, it's kind of all over the place. Like some of them were trying to, we're making a serious movie, you guys, shut up. And like then some of the people just couldn't do it, which I get it. It's just, it's very strange. I don't remember what the book was like. I read the book a long time ago, but I don't really remember. It didn't make much of an impression. Like I said, I'm not super into alien stuff. So it's like, I just read it because, it was the thing, like everybody was reading it. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I had also read The Hunger, and I liked that. So I read his other one, but then I was like, this dude's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like fucking... I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't, but I think, like you said, I think he just had sleep paralysis.
I think he has sleep paralysis. He knows he has sleep paralysis, but he's acting that he was playing that up to fucking come out with a new product, I think.
Yeah. Whatever.
Phantom said something about there.
So I watched it once on YouTube 2 months back and thought it was pretty good, and 3 days ago I ordered a VHS copy from eBay. It's not
VHS, damn.
Yeah.
Good.
Hardcore.
Serious action.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's a weirdo.
Maybe we have to see it again, though.
Heidezzer said, Streamer does a UFO podcast. I don't know if he talks about butts, though.
He does. I didn't know he did a UFO podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although you think that would be, like, the main question everybody would want.
Yeah.
It's like, did you really get, like, butt worked by an alien? By an alien vacuum cleaner? What did they want with your butthole, sir? I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
Look, man, there are aliens. Aliens exist. We don't know if they're coming here or not. Some people say they are. You got pilots that see shit. Some of these accounts are credible. Because there's confirmation on the ground with ground radar. Is it always extraterrestrial? Probably not. It's probably a mix. But then again, it depends on what they say they saw. Now, just because that's happening, I'm going to give them that. Let's say, okay, that's happened. Like the Tic Tac UFOs. Okay, that happened. That doesn't mean the government knows anything about it. They probably don't know anything about it. They just know that it's something that's there. Probably don't know what to do about it. I'm sure they have all kinds of plans and shit like that. And there's probably like, well, we have this project. But there's probably nothing to that. The government has plans for everything. They have plans for what happens if a fucking meteor hits.
Or a zombie apocalypse.
Or a zombie apocalypse. They have plans for everything. Doesn't mean a whole lot. But I guarantee you, there isn't any abduction happening. That doesn't make any sense technologically.
They wouldn't need to. All they need is a single drop of blood, a single cell, and they could go into that DNA and figure out everything about a human. They can make other humans where they, on their planet.
Why they'd want to, I don't know.
Yeah, they could 3D print one. That's what kind of technology they'd have.
It's like we're gonna make one just so we can poke it with a stick.
Yeah. So there's no reason why they're gonna have to put a vacuum cleaner hose up Christopher Walken's booty. And
they just wanted to because it's
fun.
And
suck all his dookie, his ever valuable dookie out, so they can have some kind of a fucking analysis of what comes out of a man's ass.
Maybe they just wanted Christopher
Leave that shit to Victor.
Okay.
Leave that shit to Zach and Victor. Okay.
High Desert said zombies would eat the butts.
Yeah.
Victor says, I really hope the UFOs are the aliens, like in the movie Nope. Yeah, that actually might be good. That was an interesting take on it, I thought.
That it was a creature.
Yeah.
I think it is, though.
Like it was organic.
It doesn't make sense. I don't think it's organic, though, in reality. What they're describing, most likely. The chances of it being saying like a ship as we would know it, probably not. There's probably nothing biological in it. It's probably a platform that moves and can do all kinds of cool shit. But probably what's in there is a bunch of databases and you have a bunch of alien souls in it. Because it's a lot easier to take care of them if all they need is electricity. You don't have to give them food or an atmosphere. They probably just live in that, and they probably don't have a planet. They probably just live in that. And they just coast around, look at this shit, and they're immortal.
Look at that shit.
They don't ever die. And there's probably more than one of them, and they're all connected in with an internet. And they're probably in a virtual reality like the Matrix, where they're living all their own lives in there, and then they can see where they are if they want to. And let's go look at the alien planet. And they might be millions and millions of years old, living in a heaven,
nice,
in a heaven-like state. And because maybe their planet's long gone. And why fucking transplant your entire species to another planet when you can just download it into a database and recreate that planet and all the people and you in a virtual reality that is immortal? Now you don't have to worry about physical limitations. You don't even have to be you. You could be something else. You go, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna be a dog. Fuck it, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be an alien. I'm gonna be an army tank. You could be whatever you wanted in there. Yeah. Right.
What
so that's more. You see, probably to travel faster than light, probably gonna require a lot of fucking technology. Maybe they can do it. Maybe it's wormholing, but maybe they can't. And if they can't, being immortal would really help. Because if it's a 10,000 year journey from one star to the next, you don't care when you're not aging. You know what I mean? Man, you say it's a 50-year journey, like, oh, fuck that, I'll be dead by the time I get there.
Yeah.
Well, they're not experiencing that if they're immortal. They're like, 10,000 years, that's no big deal. We'll just do some of this other shit, and I'll sleep for 8,000 years, and we'll be okay.
Oh, that sounds nice.
As long as you don't care about going back to the time in which you left, and the place in which you left, what do you care that you were asleep for 8,000 years? Doesn't matter.
Nah.
Because you live forever.
And
everybody else is around you is living forever. So it doesn't matter.
Because I kind of feel like most people would live forever if everyone else did too. Because I think that's the biggest bummer for people, like living forever, like being a vampire, for example, or something like that. Like all your loved ones would die.
Yeah, no.
And like over and over, you'd have to like watch them die, and that would be
probably in that simulation. They're all live. They probably not only all live forever. People who have died have probably been brought back. You know what I mean? There might be a simulacrum or a simulation, but the simulation might be so good that you don't know the difference. So, and maybe the simulation doesn't even know the difference. So it might just be a total recreation. But I don't think of it as alien minds. I think it might be alien souls in there.
Yeah.
So, like when in that Phoenix Lights thing with the big triangle. Not like you're seeing an alien spaceship. You might be seeing a part of an alien world with a bunch of souls in it. In a virtual reality. Some of them looking. Other ones, maybe they don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, it's not a big deal. We see this all the time. Because the chances of us being special are probably not too good. There's probably a lot of stuff that's like us in the galaxy.
Yeah, we're probably boring as fuck.
Probably just normal shit, yeah. Be like you drive down the fucking road and sitting on the damn fence post is a fucking bird. You don't stop and go, hey, bird, take me to your leader, man. I'll make a contact. I'm going to teach you how to use a lighter. We're going to fucking accelerate I'm going to teach you some shit. You're not going to do that. They're not going to do that either. We're just going to be part of the environment, the wildlife. They probably see wildlife everywhere. Because I'm convinced, based on listening to these fucking scientists, exobiologists and shit, everything is coming down with all this new data, with all these new fucking probes. Chances are fucking life's real common, and I bet you it's mostly single cells, cellular life forms, you know, microbes. Probably microbes everywhere. If microbes are everywhere, then that means that there's a lot of other more advanced creatures, you know, shit like fish and birds. That's out there too, I'm sure. There's a chance they might have that on Europa. It's a water world. It's an ice shell world. It's a water world where the surface is frozen. Things could live in there. It's not that cold. And cold doesn't seem to matter. There's a lot of cold places here on the Earth, up in the Antarctica, and there's shit living there.
High Desert said, I think the UFOs are from here, like from inner Earth or something. I think it's another intelligent species living here who worried humans will blow up the planet.
Well,
I mean, I guess that's a possibility.
There's people don't really consider deep time. The Earth's fucking old. I think, was it 3 billion years old? I think, was it 3 billion?
4.5 billion, I believe, is the closest approximation.
Yeah, and it's been habitable for a long time. Life could have been reset on it several times. For all you know, the things that you think are aliens might be like very ancient AI creatures that were created from a civilization a couple million years ago, and they're still around. But they're AI. They're living underneath the ocean or something.
Yeah, that's what Victor said. They're from the oceans, like the abyss or sphere. Yeah.
And they don't really need anything, because when you're AI, all you need is a little bit of fucking electricity. You know, if your technology is good, you don't need food. You know, you're immortal. And it's an AI creature, and it comes up and looks at it. So it's not. So it sees that it sees this place as their planet. You know, and we're just part of the wildlife.
Yeah, look at these fuckers walking around.
But they probably don't care if they're from here, because they'd be interacting if they were.
Chantelli Lace asks, I would love to know you guys' thoughts on the Karen Reed case. Even though it's high profile right now, I love it when you both go into theories of what could have happened. Then High Desert said, I haven't heard of that case. I have not either, actually. It sounds kind of familiar, but I don't really know the details of it. So I can't go too much into it.
Yeah, I don't know the case.
Since I don't know anything about it. But I will look it up later. Let me write that down. And we can maybe talk about it at another time when I know what it is. But yeah. So let's see. Yeah.
People are saying Tammy said aliens are probably something we couldn't imagine. Yeah,
probably.
I guarantee you we couldn't imagine their technology. We might be, because whenever you have human beings talking about their technology, we're always talking about it with what we know of in terms of the latest technology. Laser beams, you know, shit like that. Well, I said AI and a fucking AI and immortal things inside of a virtual reality. That's all a very new concept. But I may be wrong. It might be even wilder than that. But there's no way we can imagine it yet. I'm just thinking that that's probably what's most likely. If you were a spacefaring race, you wouldn't want to be biological. That's too much work. You now have to you have to bring an atmosphere with you. You have to bring a whole ecology, things that make food. You have to grow food. You got to worry about diseases. All the little microbes that live on you that you need, the symbiota. Isn't that what they call them? Symbiota?
Or, yeah.
Microbiota, I think is what they call them. And if those microbes on you die, you die. It's more complicated than you think. And then you die, and then you have to go fast. If not, you'll die of old age. And then if you die, then why do you want to live to 100 years? Why not 100,000? Why not 1 million? Why not 100 million? Why not 1 trillion years? If you have the ability, you can do it. And if all your people can do it, then what do you care? Yeah, let's be immortal. So they're going to be like that. Once you're like that, fucking, the rules are different for you. That's a very highly evolved, superior being. It's a supreme being. What you're talking about is the fucking monolith from fucking 2001. That's what that is. But it's also a von Neumann probe, a self-replicating probe that can be everywhere, and they're all over the universe monitoring shit, but it's AI. You know. Well, that might be what that big flying triangle is, something kind of like a monolith. It might be kind of like a von Neumann probe.
So just hypothetically, if the technology became available, which I don't see why it wouldn't, like probably sooner rather than later, that you could download your consciousness into like an avatar.
Yeah, in virtual reality.
Yeah, into like a virtual reality,
Yeah.
and could, you know, effectively like live forever. Would you do that?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would do it late in life, though.
Well, yeah.
You do it when you start to get so old you can't do anything. You go in there.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, we go in there at the same time. It's like, all right, let's go in there.
Let's
What you
go in.
want to do is you want to try it out first.
Yeah, you could have like they could do like a free trial.
Come back out. Yeah, just look, yeah, it works.
See if you like it or
works.
not.
Yeah, let's go in
Because you
there.
might not like it. I don't know.
Right.
But, you know, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Right. If they can take you out and put you in a matrix, that means
And
that
it
they can
still
put you.
feels like you.
And but that also means they can bring you back out.
Yeah.
So you could try it. You know, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And I'd try it out, see what it was like, and go, yeah, I can live over here. But then you'd have to worry about, well, what's it going to cost? And we'll have to work in there. Will I have to work in there to pay my rent
see, now that kind
to
of stuff.
stay in that fucking matrix?
Because
you'd have
we're going to unplug your ass.
yeah, and I'm living as a trillionaire inside the matrix. Okay. But I got to pay fucking $29.95 a month to stay in there.
Right.
And I don't have a job.
Right.
So where do you get the money? You know, you don't know.
That's kind of what I was thinking of, because I'm
Right,
just
yeah.
like, well, it'd be nice if they just like let everybody live in there for free and it was like a no money society
Right.
or something like that. But yeah, if it's gonna be, it would probably end up going like that. And it's
Yeah.
like you can't pay your rent inside
Yeah.
the Matrix
They
or something
delete
like
you.
that, and they just delete you.
Yeah.
Boop. Then you just like wink out of existence.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Chances are there'll probably be jobs in there.
I would think, but it's like, why the fuck you want to write? The whole point of like living all that time and stuff like that, you don't want to have to have a fucking job. Come on.
Yeah, by that time, probably what it is you know how everything
That would
gets cheap.
suck.
Everything gets cheaper and cheaper as technology advances. You know, like a computer chip is cheaper than a piece of paper. You know, so it could be that the technology is so advanced. If you just download yourself into there, it's so cheap to keep you in there. They don't even care. It's free.
Yeah.
So it try just becomes free that you're in there, and maybe it's better for them because you're not sucking up all the food and all the oxygen and shit. It's better for the environment, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Just run around.
So
in
they
the
save
computer.
money if you go in there.
Yeah.
Probably what would happen.
Which, all right, and then you can just like run around and do fun shit in there and not
Yeah.
worry about fucking.
Yeah, but then you know there's going to be some people cheating, high-ranking people that have powers over other people in there.
Well, yeah.
That's what they'll have that too, like a dude that can delete someone else and then fucking and change the past, changing records and shit, so you didn't know it was him. That kind of crap.
Yeah.
Some dude that can abuse it. He was Bill Gates over here, but in the fucking Matrix, he's God.
That's the thing. There's always one motherfucker.
So he's with some motherfucker.
You gotta ruin it for
Gotta ruin it for everybody.
Because you know there's gonna be one.
Because he's like, well, if I'm going to go in there, look, I'm going to give you all this shit out here in the real world if you make me basically God in there. Or a God. Where I can fuck over the people over. Fuck them over, you know, not get caught. Okay, yeah, I'll do that for you.
Because, man, some people just
Because you know somebody's going to want to put
unless they're fucking
somebody's going to want to put the dick on somebody else, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
I'm going to go look down fucking Robert, man, what he did, he fucking stole my wife from me. I'm going to fuck him up in there. It's going to be shit like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we're not ready for this. Humans are not ready.
Anything's good, I would tell you. I can find a way to break it.
Well, I know.
I can break anything.
Oh, and like I said, there's a lot of people that are like that,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Karen Reed case, says Chantelly Lace, is essentially she's possibly being framed for hitting her boyfriend with her SUV. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look that up and maybe we can talk about it because I haven't actually heard about that.
It's
case.
coming up around the time we should go get something to eat.
Yeah, you want to go get a sandwich?
Let's go get a sandwich.
All right, we're gonna
Go ahead and shut it down. Nice talking to you people. We're gonna
gonna
see
go
you
get a sandwich.
Monday. Be around.
Yeah, we don't know what movie it's going to be yet. We might go to the movie theater and see something, or if not, we'll find something else on streaming. Maybe one of the things that y'all have suggested. But yeah, we'll figure it out on Monday, and it'll be a surprise to you guys probably as much as it's a surprise to us. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Thank you for your super chats, and we'll see you guys again on Monday night. Good